other Caucasians to the back. And me.
Capiche, capiche. Tequila lover, astrology nerd. Demon time sipping on some sizzle. Swallowed, beat the ground up, was in the bag. And don't forget the least capiche. Cult leader, rain boots and a thong. Boosie, 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 all day long. Piss break, happy box, shake your fucking ass.
Yeah. It's pussy time. My word, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday from all of us to you. Also, welcome in. Shout out to all my YouTubians on YouTube. How y'all doing? Somebody asked me if I like peach cobbler or banana pudding. I would have to go with banana pudding over peach cobbler, honestly, really, truly. I would definitely have to go with banana pudding over peach cobbler, but depending on who makes what though. Ooh, it depends, but I love a good banana dessert. And it takes a person with real skill to cook a good banana dessert. Now, here's the question. Banana pudding with or without the vanilla wafers? I think banana pudding is not banana pudding unless you have vanilla wafers. Most definitely. It's got, if you don't have vanilla wafers on your banana pudding, you're banned. You're banned. It has to have the vanilla wafers. Oh my God. And I like the banana pudding, an Oreo banana pudding. Oh, that's too much. I would try it though, but that's just too much for my taste buds. But I like the vanilla wafer still a little crunchy. I don't like when the vanilla wafers sit in it and it becomes soggy. It kind of messes with me a little bit. I like fresh vanilla wafers in my banana pudding. So vanilla wafers and them other cookies they started adding to it. What other cookies? I hope you ain't saying no Biscoff. Vanilla wafers gotta be at least 35% of the dish. Exactly. Banana pudding gelato. Oh my God. Jesus. Ladyfingers asked Tape about the New York banana pudding. Is it gonna send her into a spiral? If your mom's making the banana pudding, you're choosing Mildred's banana pudding. If y'all like bread pudding, you like your mom's bread pudding. I like bread pudding. Bread pudding is actually pretty good. Your banana pudding recipe mixes vanilla pudding and with salted caramel pudding. BT, get out of here. Get out of here. What's up, Jackrabbit? Oh, the Chessman cookies. I think that's too much. I think that's too much. I just like a good classic banana pudding with vanilla wafers. That's it. I don't need no caramel, even though that would be really good. I don't need no Oreos, even though that'd be really good. I don't need nothing but banana pudding and vanilla wafers. Man, if you keep on sounding amazing, I'm gonna ask to be your third. Allie, please. Oh my God, hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and put you away. Oh my word. Let me go ahead and put you away. 10 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all. Allie's pink thing is always out. If Allie was an animal, Allie would be a little chihuahua with the pink thing always poking out. Always. My heavens. Oh my God. Oop. Silence. The first thing you did was came in here and did silence command. Crazy. And guess what? I'm taking your points too. Because why would you even do that? Wow. You didn't even, what happened to saying hello? How are you, Leash? Now look at you, points took, and I'm still talking. Crazy, crazy, Davey. How could you? You layer yours too in little individual cups, layer of crushed Nilla wafers, banana flavored pudding, bananas, the vanilla caramel pudding, crushed Nilla wafers again, banana, then top with whipped cream, cream cheese mixture, sprinkle a last little bit of Nilla wafer on top. That's crazy. Oh my God. Tape. Maya told me to ask you about the banana pudding, the New York banana pudding. Now I want to be broke. David, get out of here. My word. BT, I need you to become my chef. Y'all don't want him to cook for you no more anyway because he's skinny. I don't want skinny BT on the grill. The BT that I wanted on the grill had fat folds and cankles. Okay. I don't want a skinny petite BT. Listen. You're being underutilized in the basement? No. BT's no longer allowed to cook for us. I still cook good. I just don't eat as much of it. Whatever. Whatever. Wait a minute. Why is that popping up over here? Oh, well. Oh, well, I gotta cut the back of my hair, y'all. Look. You wanna know what I look like? I look like them dudes from, what is it? Either Houston or Dallas. Who the dudes who be wearing the shag? That's what I look like right now. Like I'm from fucking Texas. I gotta cut my hair. Oh, keep your mullet? No. It looks, I gotta at least shape it up. I gotta shape it up. You gonna get a ducktail? I know. Ben does say people don't trust the skinny chef, and I wouldn't. Don't ever trust the skinny chef, y'all. They're not worth your time. Just kidding. The Pog just said, you definitely shouldn't tell Leash we just had dry rubbed ribs, mac and cheese, slow cooked green beans, Cajun pinto beans, collards with turkey drums, corn on the cob, and cornbread. And BT, my wonderful, beautiful, and amazing Pog, BT just sat there and watched you eat it, didn't he? He's becoming a feeder. Don't get caught up in it. Leave him now, please. He's trying to know. He's gonna feed you until you burst while he sits up there and he gets skinny. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, my beautiful Pog. Okay. Now she ain't gonna fit out this door. Then she can't run away. That's correct. See? The proof is in the pudding. And it ain't banana. Just saying. Oh boy. Oh man. I'm here if you need me. Not you, BT. You know who I'm talking to. I'm here if you need me. Beautiful and amazing Pog. When you're done with that skinny stick of plywood, come get with a voluptuous queen like myself, you know. That skinny white branch. What do you offer? That's a good question. I'm trying to answer that myself. Oh boy. Can Leash cook like BT? I could if I tried. Y'all know I don't like cooking. I cook with tolerance, but I am a good cook though, surprisingly. It's never as good as it's supposed to be because I don't like cooking. And I'm good at fixing stuff on the fly. Because the other day I accidentally messed up my Mexican rice and I fixed it up so well that you couldn't even tell. Oh. So I'm good at cooking on the fly, but I just don't like cooking. And you wanna know what's so crazy is that must run in the family, at least on my mama's side, because my mom and none of her sisters cook for real. None of them. Mind you, there's 5 of them. None of them cook. I remember asking that at the family reunion. I said, none of y'all cook? It must run in the family. I'm sure you're good with leftovers. Oh yeah, I love leftovers. Means I don't have to cook. Shit, I cook with the intention of having leftovers. I like cooking, but I don't like when anybody is in the kitchen with me. That's fair. That is fair. Sometimes that's reparations for women, right? That is true. That is true. What's up, Cody? You love cooking. Only your aunt cooks of your mom and her sisters. Your grandma used to go crazy in the kitchen, so they never had to do it. Same. My grandma, my mom's mom, she cooks. She cooks really good. And she's a good baker. She knows how to bake really well. And she's a baker. She's like one of them old school bakers that don't have to measure. Like, it's like, it comes natural to her. She can eyeball anything and make it perfectly. But none of the other girls picked it up. You like to cook, but you like to cook efficiently. I'm not a let's cook for 4 hours to cook something simple because it's a process. No, I want to make the food and make it really well and do it fast. Fair enough. Fair enough. So you don't like to bake because baking is one of those processes. Tape said I cook like a divorced father. That's your emotional support, White. I don't know what you want me to say. You've dealt with that for years. You're a terrible baker. You're impatient. Fair enough. Oh shit. Not like a father that's been to prison at least. Oh man. So what is it? A bunch of hungry man and beers? Right. Just frozen dinners and beers. Let me find out, Maya. You love baking with a box mix, but you know what you could remix it with? Right. You love to bake, you're okay with cooking. I'm not really the best baker, but I could follow a recipe. I haven't really baked anything in a long time either. I need to try it. You know. It's always pasta, tacos, and burgers with her. Well, damn. Well, damn. So who does so Ben does the cooking in the relationship? You know what? Let me stop asking your business. But I mean, if you want to disclose, using cake mix for waffles is top tier. Oh my God, I never even thought about that. Box cake mix with a scoop of mayo in there, make it real moist. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. All right, I can't talk to y'all for too much. We got a book club to run today. It's book club time. What's up, Muternal? Speaking of eating and cooking, I ate really good today. And I'm stuffed. I ate some salmon with some mac and cheese and some of my leftover Mexican rice and some green beans. But this was the only meal I ate today, so I was like, let me stuff myself full, because I don't really be hungry in here. There's something about my parents' house that just doesn't make me hungry, but it's probably also the insane amount of sweets that's in here. So you end up in the happy box because BT is hot. It's not fair. Ugh. Jesus Christ. Do you want to go back, Allie? Do you want to go back? Salmon with seafood stuffing is one of your favorites. Ooh, no, don't say that. Don't say what you were going to say. Large Kaparsh. Let's go ahead and do this chat game and get it out the way so we can talk about this book today. Let's do some who done chat. Who done chat? Gonna wake up with peach rings on the kitchen table. Oh God, please. Not peach. No. Not the rings. How come it's not pulling up for me? Not the rings. 5 pounds of them. I know. I was eating peach rings for fucking months. It looks like Who Done Chat is not working. Is my internet working? I mean, it should be because I'm live on twitch.tv. Y'all seen the latest news about I have no problems being a little parasocial with people, especially if they put their business on the internet. But y'all seen the latest drama with Sacco and Dalton? Apparently now the saying is that Sacco cheated. I don't believe it though. I'm just here for the chisme of it all. But it's crazy. That's why I don't think I would ever be that type of person who would like have my relationship on the internet unless I get me a white man, because we're gonna make some interracial couple. Here's my white boyfriend. Huh, I braided his hair. Listen, I'm getting my money's worth with a Caucasian man. All right. Maya has a missed opportunity. And dude, listen, that's one way to get reparations. People who make their relationship content always end up breaking up. You have to give him cornrows and watch him be viscerally uncomfortable. Exactly. Not leash back to pimping white men. Is it though? We're both winning. We're both winning. She finally came out and made a video. I didn't even watch the video. What did she say? What was the gist of it all? I'm like, I don't want to be super parasocial and be looking for shit, but if it pops up on my timeline, guess what? I'm watching it. Goddamn. Yep. He'll look at the one panel of Peter Parker in Wakanda. They gave Peter Parker cornrows. That is hilarious. I'll try this one again once more, but I don't think Who Done Chat is working today, y'all. It's not working today. It's not loading up for me. Oh God, I can't say too much because each day I open a cabinet and see Leisha's face on a mug. Not a nightmare. BT, I'm a purchase you that pillow of me on a patron saint's body and ship it to you. So that way I'll forever be in your home and your heart. But it won't be for you, it'll be for the Pog, so she could sleep next to me every night. You're gonna put it in your cat's bed. Shut up. Oh shit. Now you gonna put it in your cat's bed. Y'all, Who Done Chat is not working, so we're just gonna have to get into the the book club. Yay. You with your Snicker Liquor crop top and sipping shot glass and wine glass. Crazy. Snicker Liquor. Who'll be licking on Snickers in here? Don't answer that question. Do not answer that, because I already know somebody's gonna be like, me, I like to gargle. I like to gargle on Snickers. Google Docs. Where's my Google Docs? There we go. You in October? I'm going to Florida to have a wonderful and amazing time. And to see, is there a dark mode on Google Docs? Cause my word, I'm blind. Yes, where? There's 3 people that said yes, there's 2 people that said no. With a Florida man, no. Ask a Florida man if you could stack peach rings on it. No. Mac! Page setup and change it to black. Page setup. Mac! Is it pink? I don't see where it says page setup. Not maybe. Mac will never be free. Not never. And you're right about that. Where image tables, links, extensions, tools, compare documents, notification, word count, preferences. Substitutions, no. I can't. Desktop does not have dark mode. Mobile has it apparently. Workaround is just to make the page black. Oh my god. I'll just minimize it for right now. Damn. Not miracles. I hope you have fun in there because Allie just left. Tape is about to get a little sticky in a second. Talk about some damn miracles. I wish more desktop things had the yellowish color and dark mode for things. Your eyes are sensitive. Right? I just don't like looking at a white screen. It's intrusive. My eyeballs feel like they're just gonna melt. What's up, IQ? I feel like I'm out of breath. I ate too much. BT, you missed this feeling? Just food sitting on you, sitting on your stomach. Don't you miss it? Oh my god. Not you hate me so much. What did I do? Hear that wall of white? Leash says y'all are intrusive. I mean, I'm not wrong. Anyway, who in here has read Native Son? Who in here has read the book? Anybody? Raise of hand, show of hands, show of hands. I didn't know that the book was only 420 something pages. I thought it was 520 something pages, but the rest of that shit was like extra stuff. Crowbatty, IQ, Leah, Jules, it counts if you read it in high school, as long as you remember some stuff. 420, yes, it has like a 400, not 420 exactly, but around 420 pages, yeah. Like 429 or something. So it was like, I woke up, last night I read some more, then I went to bed and I woke up and I read again. And I thought I was going to like be done around like 7, but nah. I read only for like an hour and 30 minutes and it was like, okay, it's a wrap. It's over. Wait. Oh my God. He really has cornrows. That is crazy. Who braided his hair? Was it Shuri? Wild and out of this world. But anyway, just for a quick Just for a quick synopsis of Native Son, the book is by Richard Wright. I did read a little bit of his why he created Bigger thing at the back of the book. I did read a little bit of it, and I'm kind of happy that I did. I didn't read the whole thing because I wanted to play Pal World. So let me break out my iPad that I never use. Well, I use it to read books only. This might as well be a Kindle. I literally use my iPad just to read. Crazy. First world problems, huh? Anyway. Same. And I have a Kindle too. I just don't like it. I like that it's compact. It's something I would take if I want to travel, but I don't travel that much. So yeah. You use yours mostly to draw. That's a good reason. Well, the lady who did my tattoo, she drew my tattoo on her iPad. I was like, that's so cool. Let me go to my annotations. I made a whole bunch of annotations too. As I always do. Oh, it's a whole bunch of them. Damn, Leash. I was on one. I only have 38% battery. Let me turn it off until I need it. But anyway, you need a big screen. You can't see as is, right? IQ word of the day is margarita Mancy. Margarita Mancy. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Margaritomacy. Margaritomacy means a form of divination involving the examination of pearls. Oh, I thought it was gonna mean a form of divination involving the drinking of margaritas, getting blackout drunk, and then just saying words. But you're going to Florida to get cracked, but you can't read in between that. I'm not going to Florida to have sex. I'm going to Florida. Oh, God. Y'all, it's not going to happen. I'm going there to have a good time with friends and people that I care dearly for, and to listen to music and to eat festival food. Hopefully the festival food is good, because festival food can be very hit or miss. Oh my God. And to get some sunshine on my skin and get out this goddamn basement. Not with that attitude. Shut up, Mac. Alicia's happy that Tasha is offline because we won't know the truth. Tasha wouldn't snitch on me if she was online. Okay. Oh my God. You know what happens every time you say something won't happen? That is not going to happen. Y'all, I'm borderline asexual. I don't think I am. But sometimes just the thought of somebody touching on my body is just like, oh, no. So yeah, y'all, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I just be talking shit most of the time. That's my true nature. I have some pineapple and ginger in here. Ugh. It is so good. Your true nature is shit. Confirmed. Cupcake is ace. People wrongly assume ace means not being nasty, but some of the folks I know that talk the nastiest are on the ace spectrum. Of course. Of course. But I don't think I'm on the ace spectrum. I will have the relations. I just don't want to right now. It'll come back eventually. I'm just really in like my hermit, don't want to talk to anybody for real on that type of time. I'm a hermit right now. Let me be a hermit in peace. Let me be a hermit. I want to be a hermit. Hermit Arcana era, pretty much. A hermit crab, and is. I would say you have crabs, but then the pog wouldn't still be with you if you did. So, damn. The only reason why I don't get on you as much, BT, is because of the pog. But just you know that when she eventually comes to her senses and leaves you for me, oh, it's Jover for you. It's Jover for you, okay? Leash is the opposite of an incel. She chooses celibacy. I do. Y'all, what is our saying in here? Dick is common loot. It's not hard for me to be like, hey, I want to have relations and then go have relations with somebody. It's just, I just don't want to. And then it's like, what if the relations ain't good? So I just gave up my whole little celibacy era for mediocre or even worse, horrible cock. Oh, I will jump off of a bridge. Just kidding, I won't, but I'll think about it. Not it being common loot, it is. That's how you feel? Do I want to have butt naked hot tweaking sex? Well, yes, but not right now. Not butt naked hot tweaking. Hello. It'll have to be as special as your first time. My first time wasn't even as special, y'all. It was awkward, and my first was not. Let me not be mean, because he's let me shut up. I'm being mean. He didn't do nothing to me. So anyway, we're here for a book club, not to talk about Leash Capiche's sex life. He didn't do nothing to me, and that was the problem. Shut up. Leash wants a resume. Make that hypothetical man give you 2 references. Honestly, really, truly, I would not be above somebody giving me references about how good or bad they are. Like, yeah, I need, if you have 2 exes that you're cool with, tell them to let me know what it's hitting on. And if they say it's good, I might give it a chance. But you know, that is like that is a fantasy, okay? That'll never happen. Your best friend. Hello? Your best friend just broke her celibacy after 10 years. Was it good? Was it worth it? It always comes back to humping with you. It doesn't. Y'all are the ones who started it. That could be lesbianism. But that gets messy, because I'll be like, yeah, 2 exes that you're cool with whole time, they probably still hunching on the exes. And so yeah, nah. Breast friend. Anybody in here has a breast friend? Next thing you know, y'all rubbing roast beefs like it's Thanksgiving. Shut up, BT. Damn. Oh, she had a Nigerian man. Oh, let me not say that. We're a mixed company. Shit, sometimes I wish most of y'all in here were black. So I could talk about more black things. God damn it. Why do I have to be quirky black? I'm black as hell, but yeah, I present quirky black, so the white people naturally like me. Shit. Not your right, Worley. Damn, I wanted to make it a whole thing, but I'm in mixed fucking company, and I don't want white people to even have the audacity to even giggle if I say the things that I say about my fellow black people. So damn. Every time you try to give someone's son a chance to knock the cobwebs off, he says something that gives you the ick and the gates close. Yeah. Are white people allowed in here? Even if I said no, that ain't gonna help. When has the word no ever stopped white people? Don't colonize those lands. No, don't do that. No, don't take those people from their land and bring them to a foreign land and make them work as free labor, slaves for millennia. No, don't do that. I don't understand the word no. Okay. Boy, I wish there was a way to just give you a night where everyone non-black just agrees to not show up, but we know folks won't have enough respect. Exactly. Are Asians allowed in here? Of course. Of course. I love Asians. I love my Asian brothers and sisters. Leash says all this, but her pals in Pal World are in sweatshops. They are not. My pals don't even be doing shit half of the time. My whole thing is that I just make them do stuff if I need material to pretty up my bases. My pals be relaxing, except the ones that chop wood and mine ore. They don't relax that often, but they can, you know. They can if they want. But anyway, book club. We read Native Son by Richard Wright. If just to give you a quick synopsis, I'm not going to do the whole thing that I normally do, where I give you like a rundown, because honestly, this book doesn't have that much movement in terms of like, you know, scenes changing and things like that. The story is pretty solid and simple. And I will say for the last half of the book, it's basically two big ass monologues. And the main character doesn't even get one of those monologues, you know, which I find really crazy, is that the main character barely speaks, but we do get most of the things from his point of view, and we get his mental state at most times. So he doesn't really have to speak because we're technically in his mind. But it's about Bigger Thomas. And he is just a black boy in the 1930s. I tried to find where in the 1930s this took place, but it definitely had to be after Prohibition. Because, you know, Prohibition ended in, I think, in 1932 or 1933. So it had to be sometime after Prohibition, because when they kept bringing up if somebody was drunk or if somebody was drinking, it wasn't a crime and it didn't seem like they was going to get arrested for it. But because it was in the 1930s and their relationship to like alcohol was still probably very fresh from it being illegal, I could see why the issue of drinking was always brought up in, you know, the courtroom when that scene happened. But it's about a black dude, black boy, literal boy, not a boy, he's a man boy, but he's 20, so to me a boy. But in the 1930s in Chicago during the Great Depression, because the Great Depression was in the 1930s as well, correct? I think I looked it up, but now I forgot. My mind is one big jumble. In Chicago, mind you, in the South Side. And if you don't know about Chicago was at 1929 to 1939. So it was during the Great Depression. At the time, Chicago was a very segregated city. People still say it's very segregated now, and I believe them. But it was a very segregated city, and black people only had one side that they could live on, maybe two, but definitely it was the South Side. And there was no jobs, and there was barely places to like live because you couldn't live anywhere else but the South Side, right? That lack of monologue felt even more like things are just happening to him. Another example of dehumanization that was relevant to his life, right? Not gonna hold you, I skipped those monologues, so don't ask me questions about that. That's crazy. Crazy. The monologues, I will say, Max's monologue was worth reading. The DA's monologue, the district attorney, no. if you just want somebody, if you want to read about a white man calling a black man a big lip jungle bunny monkey beast, that's basically the sum of that monologue. And I read it all and I was like, God damn, I'm writing some of these down to call Baron. Because my word, it was a lot. But yeah, that's literally the sum of that monologue. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that part. So Bigger is not a very, he's not like a good character. He doesn't present himself as, he's just a human regular dude, but he is a little bad. He's bad, he's mean, he comes across as hot-headed and angry. He robs people, they steal. So we're not getting the point of view of a character that's morally good. He is very morally gray. And if anything, and not even morally gray, like super gray, he leans kind of morally bad, you know? And he's kind of selfish and he looks out for himself and it feels like he's alone in the world, which I feel like a lot of our youth are going through right now as well. Then he gets this job. He was gonna rob the store. They don't end up robbing the store because he's kind of scared, because the store that they was gonna rob was a white man's store. He was only used to robbing black people because, you know, when black people do stuff to black people, it's rare that they get locked up for it, especially in those times, you know. But they were talking about robbing a white man and it was like, nah, he made this whole scene so that way they wouldn't go through with it. So the day that he was gonna rob the white dude, there was he did have a job interview. So he just went ahead and went to the job interview. Also, that day he went to the movies with him and his friend and they masturbated in the movie theater. Reading that made me a little uncomfortable. I'm like, ew, yeah, but that is relevant because it comes up later in the story, right? Yeah, him and his friend just, you know, masturbating in a movie theater. Yeah, but anyway, he goes to the job interview. Is with this, he's gonna work for this dude named Mr. Dalton, who is a real estate mogul in Chicago at the time. The apartment that him and his mother and brother and sister, mind you, they share not even one bedroom apartment. It is just a room with a kitchen and 2 beds. And that's where they sleep, all 4 of them. So, but mind you, Mr. Dalton owns the apartment building that, oh, it's dinner time, cats. The little automatic feeder went off. But Mr. Dalton owns that apartment building. Mr. Dalton owns a lot of property, especially in South Side Chicago in the black area at the time. He gets a job as Mr. Dalton's driver. Mr. Dalton has a daughter and a wife. His wife is blind legally, but no, she is blind. His daughter is like that time's version of a hippie. She's a communist, you know, she wants equality for blacks, gasp. She wants, you know, she's one of those. She's kind of out there, but yet she's the daughter of a millionaire. The first thing when he meets the daughter, her name is Mary. It's Mary, yeah. When he meets the daughter, the first thing that she talks about is labor unions. Mind you, we're in the Great Depression. The Great Depression, one of the reasons for the Great Depression was just, you know, corporate greed as a whole, but also because of what? The war, right? Mind you, I didn't do that much research. I just know it's in the Great Depression and it's right after Prohibition. But she's talking about labor unions. Back in the 30s, labor unions was not popping. I don't really remember a time where labor unions was really popping. The rich hate unions. Gestures to the parallels between the present and the Great Depression, which is crazy because reading this book, I was like, God damn. You sure this ain't 2026? So anyway, his job is to not only drive Mr. Dalton, is basically to drive the whole family. So he has to take Mary to the university a little bit later that day. He does so, but before he does so, he meets Peggy, who is an Irish immigrant. And she gives him, basically she kind of gives him a job that it seems like she was supposed to do, which is take care of they have like this coal furnace burner thing to heat the whole house, right? So she basically puts that off on him, so now it's his job to take care of the furnace, and then she shows him his room, whatever. He gets his own room. So he takes old girl to her university. Mary's like, no, I'm not going to class. Keep this our little secret. Can we go? Let's go to this other place. So he takes her there. Come to find out, it's like one of the areas where the communists gather, right? And she comes out with this dude. The dude's name is Jan, white guy. He's a communist. They call the communists the Reds. And he sticks his hands out to shake Bigger's hand, and Bigger is like, no, like, I don't want to shake your hand, you're white. And not even like, I don't want to shake your hand on you're white, like ill, but like what are you doing? Like, I could get in trouble type shit. So you know, he's like, no sir, yes sir, like all of that. And Jan is like, you don't have to call me sir, like you could just call me my name because we're no different from each other. That period's version of a radical, right? Right, he thinking this is a setup, right? Labor unions for white folks in this era was one of the few places where immigrant white folks maintained their cultural identity from home countries. So like church, but instead you're unionizing. It's very be equal with me, trust me, right? So they get in the car. They make him sit in the middle between them two. The way that Mary and Jan were acting, I was like, bro, you're gonna get him in trouble just by like happenstance. They're all like, no, sit in the car, sit in the front with us. She's sitting on one side of him, Jan sitting on the other, he in the middle. Like, why can't he just sit in the back seat? They're like, we want the real experience. We want, where do all of the Negro people eat? Where the Negro people eat? And Bigger's like, I don't want to tell these people where, like he's like, the whole time he's like, oh my God, I fucking hate them because they're doing the most. And they're all like, we want the real experience. So he tells them someplace that they can go that white people sometimes frequent, right? So they get there or whatever. He's like, okay, I'll wait in the car. Bigger's like, okay, I'll wait in the car. They're like, no, you're coming in here and you're eating with us. We're one people. We're together in this, right? So he's like, oh, Bigger the whole time is like, oh my God. You want to know what's so crazy is that Bigger just wanted to do his job and go the fuck home, bro. That's all he wanted to do. He got him a good job. The job was paying him $25 a week. Was it a week? I think it was a week. $25 a week. Cushy job. Sometimes they didn't need him to drive them nowhere. But $25 a week in 1930s is some good money. Hold on. 25 in 1930. It would have been about $500 a week. But we got to think about the cost of living. We would have to think about the cost of living back then too. That $500 back in the day, that $25 would have stretched way farther than $500 or, you know, than it would today. So, and then it was gonna be $5 that he keeps to himself. And then the 20 was to go to his mother and his siblings for them to stay in school, because y'all, free public school is, when you really think about when public schools became for real free, it's not that long ago that they became so. And that's why I was like, damn, because they had to pay to go to school. And I'm like, that's how like much progress we've had in these, like the 1900s, which is crazy. When did public school start in the US? Let me see. but for black people more so. So they didn't give a fuck about bigger. They didn't think about how their actions could and eventually did affect bigger, especially if they were caught by other white passersby. Right. I still think of this opening of the book when the folks were like, how can I make insert marginalized folks immediately trust me, see me as safe by just looking at me? And then those folks get mad when you say you can't. Exactly. Because even though your intentions are well, your intentions can also affect people in a negative, which those two demonstrated perfectly, which I, mind you, yeah. Oh my God. Jojo Joe made Chanty Beluga in Pal World. I just looked over at the Discord and I see a blonde hair, blue eye Pal girl in Pal World, and I just see Chanty. Anyway, let's not speak up Chanty Beluga. Where was I? Where did I leave off? So they went to this black restaurant in the South Side. He bumps into his old boo thing, Bessie. Justice for Bessie. We'll get to that later. But he bumps into Bessie. He's trying not to make a big scene, so he kind of waves her off like, yeah. And so he's talking to them. He's ordering them, like Jan is ordering them food and drink and whatever. He orders some rum, some beers, and they're drinking and they're eating and they're having a conversation at the table, basically in the terms of like, you know, just telling them about what, you know, asking them if he knows about communism. Jan even gave him some pamphlets or whatever and all of that good stuff. Oh, and another thing that Mary did that kind of pissed me off is that at one point Bigger was getting kind of like visibly upset with her because she was being pushy when it came to the whole situation. Like, he just met this girl a couple of hours ago and she's acting like he's supposed to just let his guard down and just because she's a well-seeming white person, he's just supposed to let his guard down and just be like, okay, I trust you, white lady. So when he gets kind of visibly upset, she starts fucking crying. Of course she starts fucking crying. Oh man. So anyway, Jan kind of calms her down. They leave the chicken place and they go to the park. I think it was the park. She like, bitch, you gonna get me killed with these white tears? Right. They go to the park and he circles around the park while Jan and Mary are in the back, you know, fooling around, sneaking and geeking, you know, and they're drinking some more. They drink a whole bunch of rum or whatever. And eventually they drop Jan off and he takes Mary back to the house. I know I'm missing some stuff, but when Mo, I was about to say Mr. Mo. Mr. Mo. Because I saw Mr. Paul's name before I turned. And so I was going to be like, Mr. Mo. Mo, are you getting the call with me or no? I'm missing some parts. But I know that Mo will make up for the parts that I missed. But I'm giving y'all like just the bones of the story. The way also the way that doing radical stuff meant drinking recklessly, dead ass no regard. Right. And back then, I don't even think that the drinking and driving thing was a whole thing, because there was definitely drinking and driving and nobody made it a point to be like, oh, that's a crime. So there's that. Crazy, right? But anyway, damn, what was I about to say? So he took Mary home. Mary's drunk out her mind. She's drunk as a skunk. He wanted to be a pilot, right? Very much made me go, how do we know you aren't a communist just to be a contrarian to your daddy? And you want to know what's so crazy is that's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, this girl heart ain't in it. She just want to be anti. I feel like she was gonna be one of them girls who grew up, one of those women who like were real radical and like leftist when they were young and then grew up Republican and like extra white when they get older. Like basically all of the hippies in the 1970s, how the hippies were white and they were like, yeah, down with the man. Most of them hippies voted for Reagan. Most of those hippies are probably MAGA supporters right now. So he takes Mary home. Mary is drunk out her mind. And he's trying to like help her up the steps and help her in the house. She can't even walk up the steps. So he's like, damn, I just can't leave this girl here. I gotta take her to her room. So he takes her to her room and she's drunk. And of course she leans in and starts kissing him, right? They're in the room. And so he starts kissing her back and then they lay on the bed and he's feeling on her boob. But then he looks, boom, at the door. Guess who's at the door? You will, but after my summary. Okay. Guess who's at the door? Her blind mama. Oh man. Oh man. The mom's at the door. I don't even know why he just didn't put her in the room. She could have just laid on the floor, just put her in the room and take your ass on. Why'd you have to kiss the girl back? And this is why I'm like, Bigger, even though Mary and Jan were doing too much, you know better. You want to know what Bigger gives me? You know those people who be like, especially if a black man gets caught doing something bad, i.e. Diddy, right? And then you'll have other black men going, well, they just let white men get away with sexual assault all the time and they don't say nothing to white men when they do it. That's what that kind of gives. That's what he kind of gives sometimes, right? In that situation. All right. But anyway, he kissed her and they see the mom at the door. She don't see him because she's blind, but she's calling Mary's name, like, Mary, you okay? And while she's calling Mary's name, Mary starts to speak, but Bigger holds his hand over her mouth. So the mom's still talking like, Mary, are you okay? Or is everything all right? And Mary is starting to move and like, you know, try to say something. And Bigger takes a motherfucking pillow and places it over her face while the mother is in the room and essentially smothers her to death. Oh my God. When I was reading that, I was like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Dastardly decision-making skills, exactly. Smothers her to death. So the mom doesn't know that he's in a room at all. Doesn't know at all. And she goes up to Mary and then she's like, oh my God, you stink of alcohol. You stink of whiskey. And she just leaves the room. When she leaves the room, Bigger's like, okay, like he kind of could breathe. And then he looks over. He sees that she's dead. His world got twisted, turned upside down. So he ends up basically like, I'm gonna just put her in the trunk and I'm gonna just leave her somewhere. So he puts her in the trunk. She has like this trunk where you like put your clothes to travel, because she was supposed to go out of town. She was supposed to go to Detroit the next day. So he puts her in the trunk and then he takes the trunk downstairs into the basement. We're in the furnace room. But he's like, nah, what if somebody looks in the trunk? And then he sees the furnace. He sees the goddamn furnace. And what does he think to do? So much of this book is profoundly fucked up, but the dramatic irony where the audience knows more than the characters do is so well done. Right. Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. It just keeps getting worse. It does. Did he lose a brain cell between the car and the bedroom? He was drunk too, but even still, that doesn't excuse him, you know, smothering the girl and knowing the potential danger of kissing a white woman at that time in the 1930s. Even if it was Chicago, Chicago is not the Chicago that we know today. Even if it was the North, okay? So He sees the furnace and he's like, bingo, I'll just burn up her body. Shoves her body in the furnace. Whole body can't fit in the furnace. So guess what he has to do? At first he cuts into her because he tries to decapitate her, right? Thank you for the follow, Ruth. Thank you so much for the raid. What you just raid into? We're doing a book club today. We read Chicago is Surrounded by Sundown Towns. We read Native Son for a book club, so we're discussing it. I'm doing a quick summary, and then we're going to get into talking about the book and all of that and how we felt about the things and things like that. So welcome in. If you're new coming in with Rue, my name is Leash. I variety stream here on Twitch and on YouTube. A lot of people know me for drinking tequila and acting a fool, which is the truth. But if they say that I run a cult, the cult is a lie. So you got to raid and dash. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your community with me. I appreciate you. She hates Loving versus Virginia. Shut up, Deanna. We went from watching Love to getting someone getting cut up. Yeah. I implore everybody who's new coming in to read Native Son by Richard Wright. It is I feel like, in my opinion, an American literature classic and a Black literature classic. So if you have the time to spare, it's like 429 pages. So yeah, I implore you all to read the book. You read it in AP language? Really? They didn't let us read this in high school. From what I remember reading The Great Gatsby. That snooze fest. Well, anyway. Oh, you're 25? Oh, well, I'm a little bit older than you. A lot of bit older than you. You had to read it in high school too. I don't remember. That wasn't a book we read. So, Joe, please. So, damn, what was I talking about? So he shoved her into the furnace and and she couldn't fit in all the way, so he had to cut off her head. He had like a little pocket knife on him and he tried to cut her head off with the pocket knife, but he was like, oh my God, he couldn't do it because it wasn't sharp enough. But he saw a hatchet in the corner of the room. He took the hatchet, chopped off her head, shoved her body in the furnace, threw her head in there, closed the door. Bada bing, bada boom. He thought he was good. But of course, he was haunted by the fact that he just killed a white woman in 1930s America. Crazy. Out of all of the Black men who got murdered for not doing a crime and getting charged and getting basically told that they did do that crime, he actually did the crime. So, you know, at first it seemed like he had chopped her up, put her in there, and her parents were like, wow, the furnace is burning hotter than usual. I know, right? Oh my God. Anyway, oh my God. He didn't set out to do the crime. It was a random panic caused by her mama right there. Yes, fair enough. But the way he handled everything afterwards is what sealed the deal for me in terms of like, damn, you ain't shit for real. And it's all how he treated Bessie. That's what, and you want to know so crazy is that I like that the author made this character unlikable, but yet there were times where I rooted for him though, which is crazy because this man, oh boy, Bigger was a trip. And there were times where I'm like, man, yeah, fuck Bigger. He could go under the jail. But then there were times like, yeah, if he get away with it, I ain't necessarily gonna be mad. Oh shit. So after he did that, the way he handled the situation afterwards, it seemed like he kind of had a hold on certain things, but there were so many times where he would set out to do a plan, because his whole plan was to blame Mary's boyfriend, Jan, the communist, right? And basically tell the story that, you know, he got home because he had to go back to his house because he didn't have any clothes. So when he came back to his house, his mom was like, the next morning, his mom was like, oh, I tried to wait up for you, but you didn't get home until around 4. And he was like, 2. No, I got home at 2 o'clock. And she was like, I know what time you got home. He was like, no, I know what time I got home. I got home at 2. His little brother did the same thing. Like, I tried to stay up, but you didn't get home until like after 3. He was like, no, I got home at 2 o'clock. So he was already kind of like making his story then and there. And his whole plan was to blame the boyfriend, right? But that, I just knew that plan was gonna fall apart. And it made it seem like he had like sometimes it seemed like damn, is he really gonna get away with it? But like deep down, like when he would do certain stuff and certain things would catch him off guard, I was like, oh no. And you know what's so crazy is that the writing was on the wall in the story from the very beginning, but how it was written sometimes made you actually wonder, like, damn, is he really gonna get away? Which I feel like is extremely good writing. Bigger is not a planner, my goodness. Or rather, did he think the mom would actually tell the truth to a white cop? Like, he's almost over worrying, but in the wrong places. The opening reading, it was the second time, was wild. Reading it the second time was wild. Man, I don't think I'll ever read this book again, because oh boy, it was a lot. So essentially, I think he goes back to the house after that. And when he goes back to the house, they're like, oh, you know, Mary's not in her room. No, he goes, yeah, Mary's not in her room or something. So he has to take the trunk to the train station. The mom is like, she told you to leave the car out in the driveway. Bigger is like, yeah. She was like, oh, that's weird. She was like, she told you to put the trunk in the basement. Bigger's like, yeah. The mom is like, oh, that's weird. So he goes into the furnace to kind of stoke the fire, but he don't want to touch it because he knows that the body ain't burnt up all the way, right? So he just adds more fire to it and then takes the trunk to the train station. And then when he gets back, basically, they're like, well, because this wasn't like, Mary was like a wild child. So she ran away before. She's like, she was known for just being like just out there and running away and like dancing to the beat of her own drum. So her pulling something like that and just not being her in her bedroom and whatever, people at first they didn't really like worry until 1 and 1 wasn't equaling 2. So they gave him the day off and he went to Bessie's house. And when he went to Bessie's house, mind you, the whole day he's kind of spiraling and he's kind of, you could kind of see him, you could see it getting to him mentally and him starting to get a little cocky and him starting to what's the word, just really lean into like that, you know, not even like I'm the man type of situation or a type of attitude, but it was definitely more like a everybody's blind and I'm the only one that can see, and oh, nobody will ever know. Like you could see him turning into his villain arc, right? Going into his villain arc. And Bessie is why I wanted to throw this man into the sun. Honestly, really, truly. Oh boy. So he goes to see Bessie, I think, that day after the mom is basically like kind of worrying, but not trying to worry because everybody's like assuring her like, hey, like, you know, Mary, she just be doing shit, you know? So he goes to see Bessie. Bessie is his like little girlfriend, but not really. And because he don't claim her, of course. And he goes there and she was like, where you been? Like, I saw you at the restaurant the other day. You act like you didn't know me. And he's like, oh my God, girl, I was with the white people. I didn't want to make a big fuss. And she was like, well, you must be seeing somebody else. And he was like, no, I ain't seeing nobody else. And then he went to try to go kiss her and she was like, no. And he was like, who you seeing? And she was like, I ain't seeing nobody. I just really wanted you to, you know, talk to me some more and stuff like that, you know, doing the things, even though like doing the things before y'all know y'all about to hunch. So, oh, and mind you, I forgot to tell y'all that and that's cheater behavior, right? Because if the mom did not come into that room, Bigger was going to hunch on that drunk girl. And that would have been a whole nother problem within itself, because I'm pretty sure she would have hit him with the, I don't know. I don't think I wanted to do that type of situation. Imagine finding out your boyfriend was trying interracial shit in the 1930s. Right. Oh, the chance to hunch on a white woman. My word. But anyway, where was I? So, oh, he also stole Mary's purse. He stole Mary's purse. I mean, hey, you killed her, so you might as well take her money too. Thank you for the follow over on YouTube. I appreciate it. So stole her purse, took her money. She had about I think it was like $125 in her purse. $125 in 1930s was about $2,500 today. Crazy. Just on her, $125 in the 1930s. $2,500 today, right? Anyway. Yeah, she had money. They were like millionaires in the 1930s. Her father was worth her father was worth $5 million. $5 million. Hold on. Let's look it up. $5 million is about around $100 million today. Wait, am I a liar? Yeah, around $100 million today. Just crazy. So yeah, they have money. And mind you, your money went farther and longer back then than it does now. More so. And yes, a millionaire during the Great Depression, when everything was probably the cheapest that it could be for a certain group of people though. So, and now she was trying to low-key flex, please. Oh, shit. Now she was trying to low-key shut up. Oh my God. Anyway, so in order to, you know, soften Bessie up, he gave her the wad of cash that he had on him, right? And she was like, Bessie was like, where you get this money from, right? And he was like, I forgot what he told her, but that basically softened her up. But she knew something was wrong, right? She was like, did you steal this money? Like, where'd you get this money from? Because there ain't no way your black ass, who ain't have money yesterday, get $125 out of nowhere today, right? So that softens her up a little bit. They do the do. She's still kind of questioning like what's going on, because she knows, you know, And he's like, you know, get up, let's go get a drink or whatever. So while they're getting a drink, she's like, you know, I feel like there's something, basically she's like, I feel like there's something going on with you, and you know, there's something you're not telling me. And while she's talking, she's mentioning a story about how somebody kidnapped somebody's rich something and demanded money via a letter. And so bling, he gets it in his mind. Boom, that's how I get away with it. In his mind, I write a ransom note so that way they won't tie it to either me or the boyfriend. They'll think it's coming from an outside source. I get about $10,000 and then I could get up out of here, right? But unfortunately, this selfish MFer couldn't do it by himself. He had to drag Bessie down with him. Now, mind you, Bessie did keep asking him what's wrong. Bessie honestly should have just minded her business. But she asked him again, and he was like, you know, you can't tell nobody, basically, do you trust me? And then, you know, he tells her like, the girl of the family that I'm working for is missing. And, you know, we could get some serious money up out of them if we pretend like she's kidnapped, and we could write like a ransom note and get some money. And she was like, well, what happens if she comes back? And then Bigger goes like, she's not coming back. And she was like, how you know she's not coming back? And Bigger's like, I just know she's not coming back. And then Bessie goes, did you do something to that girl? And Bigger is like, don't you say that again. No, I didn't do nothing. So Bessie's just giving him like the rundown, like, just, this doesn't make sense. Like, nah, it ain't gonna work. Cause what if she does, you saying she ain't gonna come back, but there's a chance that she might, you know. And he's like, no, cause I'll be in the house, and if anything goes wrong, I'm right up under them. So I'll let you know if something's going wrong, and I'll call it off. Blah, 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 blah. Bessie is like, yeah, nah, I don't know. But he was like, now you with me, because now you know the plan. So it's either we do this or not. He thinks he's gonna be not Scrooge McDuck. I think chewing a brick would be less painful than seeing Bigger do all of this holy train wreck. Exactly. Bessie was making too much sense, right? So what happened after they left the thing? And basically, I don't know why she was so like up under him so much, and like why she just didn't take her black ass and like, I don't know. Bessie deserves so much better. Bigger did Bessie so wrong, bro. But what happened after they left that little bar? I think they went back to the house, and well, he took her back to her house and was basically like, you know, think on it and just let me know if you're gonna be down, basically, I think. And he went back to the Dalton's house, to the rich people's home, and then come to find out that Mr. Dalton hired a private investigator, because of course he would. I mean, he has the money and the means to do it, so of course he's gonna hire the private investigator to see what the hell's going on. Even though his daughter is a free spirit, it doesn't mean anything. Plus, also that the trunk was not claimed at the train station, so Bigger had to go and pick up the trunk or whatever. And then they opened up the trunk and they saw that she didn't pack none of her new clothes for the trip or whatever. So the mom was basically like, no, something's not right. So of course the investigator comes in, and of course the blame is on Bigger, but honestly, rightfully so. Rightfully so. I'm sorry, y'all. don't have cats anyway. And the detective, I forget his name, but he's basically grilling Bigger, and Bigger surprisingly is like keeping his cool. What in the hell? What in the hell? Refresh. Refresh. Oh my God. What was that? What's the last thing y'all heard me say? Not I'm watching Cynthia Erivo sing a Whitney Houston song. Leash keeps saying bigger with a big whole hard R at the end, and Whitney had enough. Bigger, big, or should I say bigger? God damn, his name is Bigger. Though, okay, so the investigators started grilling Bigger. Shit. Anyway, and they found the communism pamphlets that Jan gave him in the diner the other night, right? So so the detective is going like, oh, did they send you to Russia, and like all this other crazy shit, basically trying to get, oh, well, it's an ad, but oh well, basically trying to get Bigger to confess that he's a communist or whatever, and Bigger's like, I don't even know anything about all of that. He was like, I just know that they told me to leave the car outside. The boyfriend went upstairs with the girl and told me to bring, and then he brought the trunk down or whatever. That was his story. That was Bigger's story. They told him to leave the car outside. The boyfriend went upstairs in the room to get the trunk and bring it down into the basement. That's the story. So when they find out that the boyfriend is a communist, they kind of turn their attention to the detective turns his attention to the communist, to the boyfriend. And the boyfriend, what happened after that? They turned their attention to the boyfriend, but then like, yeah, and then Bigger just goes to his room for a little bit, right? And then this is the part of the story where, and I think he like falls asleep. This is the part of the story that made me so uncomfortable that I didn't even want to turn the page. Well, not uncomfortable, but it just made me go, oh my God, I'm embarrassed. So they hear a knock, he hears a knock on his bedroom door, Bigger, right? And they open the door. He opens the door and it's the boyfriend at the door. Oh. And I think his last name is Airloan or something like that. But he's like, call me Jan, whatever. But the boyfriend's at the door and he's basically like, why are they telling you to say this? Like, why are you saying this? Like, are they telling you to say this? I wasn't in here last night. Like, what's going on? And Bigger he's just sitting on the bed, like just quiet, not saying nothing. And the detective is basically like, you know, are you sure this is the person that came over here last night? And Bigger is sticking to his story. He's sticking to his story. He's like, yes, this is the person. So, then the detective just goes on this whole other rant about like just communism in general and just asking the boyfriend, asking Jan questions that have nothing to do with the moida, or not even, because they don't even know it's a murder yet. It has nothing to do with the girl missing. And eventually like this, it gets nowhere, and Jan ends up leaving, right? I don't know if I don't think he's arrested by then. So right after that, Bigger, I think, leaves the house again in the middle of the night. No one sees him leave. I think this is when he leaves the house and goes back to see Bessie. And this time, yeah, he goes back to see Bessie. And this time, he basically is like, nah, you're doing this with me. Like, we're doing this. I don't care. And Bessie, the whole time, mind you, Bessie is drunk. She is a drunk. In the story, Bessie has basically no days off, and her only time to herself is when she's downing alcohol, right? So yeah, she's drunk by then, right? And he was like, nah, we're doing this, like, they suspect the boyfriend, but we can kind of lead them to suspect somebody else. And so she's crying and she's like, no, I don't want to do this. And so he's basically kind of sort of like threatening her at this point and like, yeah, nah, you're doing this. She has Bigger as a boyfriend and no days off. Of course she drinks. Yeah. So he's writing the letter with his left hand, so that way they can't tell that it's him, with gloves and he's so goofy. This is how I knew he didn't know what he was doing, with gloves or whatever, so they wouldn't get a fingerprint, even though he touched all over the pencil and the paper or whatever. Oh my God, it was a mess. And Bessie's just in the background crying like, Bigger, no, like. And then eventually she says, you killed that girl, didn't you? And did Bigger deny it? No. Why? Because he's like, you're with me now. You know I killed her. So now you have to do this with me. So basically saying like, you my accomplice. Now what? If I go down, you go down. Ain't shit. Ain't shit. He definitely had barbershop thinking with that glove move. So she's crying. He's like, here, drink some alcohol. Shut the hell up. Like, just getting her more drunk so she could just go along with the plan. And he takes her outside to show her the building, which she's gonna stand at. He gets like the flashlight. He was like, you see, this is where you stand. You flash the flashlight 3 times. And then they'll drop the money. Make sure you're not followed or whatever. Don't go straight home. Whole time she's crying like, no, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do this. I think at one point he slapped her. Like, pff, Bigger ain't shit. You hear me? So yeah, he goes back to the house, right? Yeah, he goes back to the house. And I think at that time, the boyfriend is finally arrested. And there was something, I think somebody alerted the press. That's what it was. He goes back. Somebody alerted the press. He put the notes under the door before he went in, the ransom note. And so the press is there, the detective is there. I think some police officers are there, and they're all in the basement in that little furnace room. And they're questioning him, they're grilling him or whatever, and he's telling them the same story. What's up? Is it Shishime? How you doing? Welcome in. He's telling them the same story. You know, they got him hemmed up. And they keep questioning him. They won't let him leave. And eventually, no, this was before the press came. The father found well, Peggy found the note, brought it up to the father. The father came downstairs like, who left this note? And Peggy's like, somebody just, you know, it was right up under the door and I just gave it straight to you. And he was basically like, oh, like she's kidnapped and they're asking for money. And then eventually the press came, because white girls don't go missing, they get found. I mean, hey, you're right. Then the press came. Then Mr. Dalton comes downstairs and he was like, listen, like, I'm not telling you too much about what's going on because, you know, somebody, and that's why the police and everybody was there, because he finally called the police and whatever. And with the detective. So basically, Mr. Dalton comes downstairs with the press. He's like, I don't want to give too much information because this is serious. Our daughter is kidnapped. Our daughter was taken and we're not going to the authorities and I just want her home and we're just going to give them money and everything's going to be fine. And well, hopefully she'll come back and whatever. And I think they let old dude out of jail by then, but he didn't want to leave jail because he said he had an alibi. Jan was like, I'm not leaving jail and I have an alibi. And then also, I forgot that Bigger signed the note. It was like the Reds. So he made it seem like the communists have her. And that's how ignorant. You could have said anybody else had her. But you want to know what's so funny? That's just how ignorant people were with communism back then anyway. And honestly now, but back then they like the US did a good job making it seem like, you know, communism was the big boogeyman and it was going to come and get you. And, you know, it was just so crazy to me. But, so let's get to the nitty gritty. Here it is. Apparently it was, he was supposed to change the coals and everything the next day, but because the fire stopped burning hot because there was just too much coal and ash in the furnace, Peggy basically came downstairs and was like, well, you're gonna have to clean out the furnace, while all of the cops and everybody is downstairs in the basement with him. So his dumbass, instead of just taking the matters into his own hands and just sweeping it up real quick, making sure he bag it up real quick and dump it, right? He tries to put more coals on top and tries to like dust up under. I guess there's like a little grate up under it. He tries to like dust up under the grate as much as he could. And he thought that was going to like at least burn enough to where when they leave, he can like, you know, clean it the way he's supposed to. But unfortunately, because there was so much ash and soot in the furnace, the smoke started spilling out of the furnace and essentially like it's just smoke all over the basement. So one of the officers was like, give me the shovel. I got it. Ah! Give me the shovel. I got it. You don't know what you're doing. Give me the shovel. He's like, no. He was like, no, I got it. The dude's cleaning out everything, cleaning out the soot. Everything goes back to normal. He was like, just make it. And he was basically like, just make sure, you know how to clean it out next time so that won't happen. But something catches the guy's eye. He goes, hey, come here. One of y'all come over here. Look at this. What's up, Swalsh? Oh my goodness. He's like, come over here, look at this. What does that look like to you? Somebody goes, that look like bone. I'm paraphrasing by now. This is what happens, but it don't happen this way. Somebody's like, that look like bone. What does this look like to you? That looks like an earring. And while they're figuring out that is the bones and earrings of Mary, Bigger is slowly backing his way out the basement, goes to his room, jumps out the window into the snow and books it straight to Bessie's house. Ah! I feel like that I Show Speed gif where he's like, it just keeps getting worse. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was just reporters. Yeah. Which is crazy. I was surprised she burned that fast. Right. But yes, books it straight to Bessie's house. What's up, Ryan? So he's at Bessie's house and he's like, we gotta go. Everything is off. We gotta go. No, there were some cops there. Because it wasn't just the, it was reporters and some cops, because it wasn't just the detective. There was other people with it, or it was like either the detective's cronies, but there were both. There were reporters and the cronies, and some of them wanted to question Bigger too. So it was both. Shit. What was I saying? Because I remember that there was other people besides the detective there, because I remember the detective talking to the other cops and they were like, he's really gonna pay the money, and the detective was like, yeah, he's gonna pay the money. But that was before the reporters came. The reporters didn't even know about the ransom note until Dalton came downstairs and told them. So he runs to Bessie's house. Bessie, poor Bessie. Mind you, this all happened in like 2 days. This is only, it's only been like day 2. This is a 2-day situation. Bessie is crying. Of course, she's like, oh my God, all I do is work hard and just, you know, do what I need to do. I keep my head down. I ain't never had no joy in my life. All I do is suffer. And look at what you done did to me. I'm like, damn. She's like, the little bit of peace I get is from the bottle. I don't bother nobody. And now look, Bessie still didn't get a day off from work this whole time. Bigger said you're gonna suffer some more. Not with the heart. Oh shit. Oh man. Anyway, so he's basically like dragging her out of the apartment because he doesn't want to do this alone. Selfish ass, because he's like, they're gonna come looking for you, they're gonna come here and you're gonna tell on me. And she was like, I'm not gonna tell on you, like I promise I'm not gonna tell on you. And he's like, nah. But in his mind, he already knew what he wanted to do. So he lured her away from the house. Well, not lured her away, but he took her away from the house. And then they get to like this abandoned building, because he was like, we're gonna have to hide in abandoned buildings because they don't come looking in abandoned buildings, right? Hides in the abandoned buildings. Cold as hell, mind you. There's a blizzard outside. This is not Chicago in the summer. This is Chicago in the winter. Okay, so it's a blizzard outside. It's cold. They're in an area with no heat. You know, they make a pallet on the floor and they're laying there. And this is the part that really just pissed me off the most and made me kind of like it. This part sealed the deal. This man sexually assaults, but you know, I can't say the other word on Twitch, but basically sexually assaults Bessie. Bessie's saying no the entire time he's doing that. So after that, she's laying there. I think she goes to sleep, and in his mind is like, she's gonna tell. If they find us, I know she's gonna basically give me up. She's gonna tell. So he takes a brick and he smashes her head in with the brick and throws her body down a I forgot what it was, but basically throws her body down some shaft. Yeah. And unfortunately the money was still, but fortunately, because fuck him, the money was still, thank you for the lurk, Swalsh, the money was still on her, the leftover money that they had. And he was like, he didn't even want to go and look because he was like, he don't want to see that image. I think it was like a trash shoot or something like that. Swalsh is leaving. Jesus Christ, y'all read some heavy shit. He didn't even hear the beginning. Swalsh, come back. It is heavy. And that was the point where I was like, yeah, fuck Bigger. Hell no. Ain't no way, bro. Like, nah. So that was my moment where I was just like, nah, fuck him. Whatever happens, happens. Didn't want to see what he did to her, but that didn't stop him from doing it. Not RIP to my favorite workaholic. That's crazy. Y'all know his little white heart. Allie. My word, not his little oh my God. Anyway, so after that, I think I don't know, his mental state, he's just going through all of the motions, right? And what's fucked up is that whenever he really only thinks about Mary's death most of the time. And a lot of his inner monologues, it's rare that he mentions Bessie's deaths, like her death. That's how much he just didn't fuck with her like that, but he just needed somebody else to bring down with him because he didn't want to go through this alone. He just chooses to remember his own girlfriend, Wright, which I find like very crazy. So eventually, you know, of course there's like this whole mob because it's a black man who murdered a white woman in the 1930s. Of course there's going to be a mob, and of course that mob full of white people are going to terrorize a whole entire neighborhood just to find one person. And so that is what they did. Terrorize the entire South Side just to find his ass. And Bigger is just, God. And I think this is the moment, even though I couldn't stand him, I kind of didn't want him to get caught by the white people, but I knew that there was no way he was not gonna get caught, because they searched every nook and cranny of the South Side till they finally basically cornered him and caught him. Now he did go out swinging. I'll give him that much, but he eventually gets caught on the roof of some building. And the entire time, like, he would just get his information from like newspapers and stuff like that just to see. So he's in jail and they're going through the things. Jan chooses to forgive him and hooks him up with a lawyer, a communist lawyer. At that time, Bigger wants to like basically be like, yeah, nah, like I just rather die. But the lawyer instills some sort of hope in him. There's a lot of people who come to visit him, like a pastor. He ain't fucking with that. His friends from earlier, the ones who wanted to rob the store, they come in. His mom, you know, they all meet him, and he's just kind of like in his own like little, like his mind is all over the place in that section. The part that got me was the DA, the district attorney. He wasn't shit. But of course he wasn't shit. And he was up for re-election. So they were really pushing for this case to be like move quickly so it would look good for his re-election campaign. And you know, a Negro man who murders a white woman and then you're the DA to put him under. Oh yeah. So he basically, he gets the scoop on everything. Like, Bigger did not cover his tracks at all the entire time he committed that crime. They found the purse. They knew he was going to rob the store that day he got hired. They even knew that he masturbated in the goddamn, in the freaking movie theater that day. They knew about like his mom. They found Bessie, and come to find out, Bessie wasn't even dead when he threw her down that chute. And essentially she ended up freezing to death. That was not her cause. Her cause of death was freezing to death. They knew that before she died that he sexually assaulted her. Like, they knew everything about Bigger. Crazy. He did not cover his tracks whatsoever. So the trial was more theater than anything, pretty much. So Bigger ends up signing a confession, because it's like, damn, you got me. You got me. It was nothing he could do to be like, it wasn't me. They had him. He got caught red-handed. But what the Bigger's lawyer wanted was for him to just get life. He wasn't with the death penalty in that situation. And his whole thing was that, you know, when does the violence stop? And a lot of what Bigger went through is because of the constraints of, not because the consequences of his actions. He had to go to jail. But what type of person could Bigger be if not for, you know, racism in America, if not for most of the black people in Chicago living in the South Side, if not for, you know, opportunity? Because even Bigger was like, I wanted to go to the army, but in the army, all they have you do is cook the food. He said in the army, all they have you do is clean and cook the food. He wanted to go to the Navy. It's the same. He wanted to fly planes. He couldn't go to the school because he was black. And that's one of the things he said early in the story. He was like, white people get to do everything. We don't get to do nothing, but we have our set little lives that they determine for us. And that's the box that we have to fit in as black people in the 1930s. And sometimes, damn, even now. But yeah, so the defendant lawyer, Max, was like, you know, he did what he did, and I'm not excusing that, but killing him solves nothing, especially since it just shows people that, basically his thing was like, it just shows people, black people, that like your lives aren't worth anything, and on top of that, like, you're not going to amount to nothing, and it doesn't cause for like a change in the system as a whole. Like, when his whole thing is like, when are we going to help more people, more black boys than Bigger not go down this path? And there were times where, especially when he was talking to Bigger while they were waiting for trial and things like that, he was like, just know that racism affects everybody. He even gave it like a rundown. Like, he was like, because Max was Jewish, and he was like, I'm Jewish, and like, they're like these, he basically was like, capitalism destroys, and he was like, these people are racist to everybody. They're racist to Jewish people, to the Irish, to the Italians, to anybody who's not them, to the poor. And that's what he was trying to tell Bigger, which is the truth. But we all know, like, being black in America is just a different type of, you know. And I like that part of it. And then what else did he say? Oh, so I didn't mention the part where Mr. Dalton, even though he is a millionaire of the time, and he owns a lot of real estate and things like that. He's known for being a philanthropist and giving back to Black people. And I think I got the numbers confused. He's not worth $5 million. He's probably worth way more than $5 million, but he gave around $5 million. That's where the 5 million came in. He gave around $5 million to help Black programs in America, right? And then one of the things that I love that Max said in this book was when he questioned Mr. Dalton, he was like, Mr. Dalton, you own the building that Bigger's mom and them live in. And Mr. Dalton was like, technically, yes. And he was like, how come you charge people in Black areas more than you charge your tenants in white areas? And which is the truth. And Mr. Dalton was like, well, if I charged them any less, then I would be undercutting, you know, I would basically be undercutting my opponents and whatever by charging less rent. And he was like, well, could you rent out more? Because there was a shortage of apartments and housing in the South Side. So he was like, well, could you move them into other areas of the city? And Mr. Dalton was like, no, I don't think I can do that. And then Max was like, why? And he was like, well, I think that Black people don't like to live around white people. And he was like, I don't think that would be nice for them, and just basically making excuses. And he was like, you know, Mr. Dalton was like, I bought 500 ping pong tables for the Boys and Girls Club. And then Max was like, what are they gonna do with 500 or 50, I think it was 50 ping pong tables, Mr. Dalton? Mr. Dalton was like, he's like one of those well-meaning white people who just don't get it and who want to see, he's basically a white moderate, essentially. He thinks he's doing the right thing, but doing the right thing would be removing the barriers that affect Black people in America, not just placating them and just giving them things or whatever, because you're charging them more rent, but you're like, but I don't feel bad because I'm giving back. Like, no, what would actively help the people in your neighborhood is not charging them a whole bunch of shit tons worth of rent. So we get to the part where we get the defender. He does his monologue, which I have quotes from in my notes. And then we have the prosecutor, the DA. He does his monologue. And when I tell y'all that monologue is nothing but one big slur, I'm not even lying. It's one big slur. And Dalton think he Mom Donnie, pretty much. It's one big slur, and then we get to the end. Bigger has some sort of come to Jesus moment, a little bit of a breakdown, and realizes he doesn't want to die, but he gets the death penalty. And Bigger and Max talk for a little bit, and we get a little bit more into Bigger's psyche. And Max tries to give him some sort of comfort, but what comfort can you give to a man who's gonna die? And Max walks out the cell, and that's the end of the book. But there's one thing that I want to read before I get on this. Mo, are you ready? There's one more thing I want to read before we get on this call with Mo. There's a talk to be had about Black men taking their frustrations against white supremacy out on Black women. Yes, that's a common and beyond valid critique of Richard Wright in general. Yep, you want to know what that reminds me of? And I hope he rests in piss. What's his name? Something Eldridge. What's his name? And his whole thing is that he said that he would sexually assault black women to practice for when it was time to sexually assault white women or some bullshit like that. So yeah, bullshit. Eldridge Cleaver, yeah, him. He didn't deserve to breathe. Exactly. So in the last portion of the book, there is a little essay that Richard Wright wrote called How Bigger Was Born. And I highlighted two things from the essay. I didn't read the whole thing. I did skim because I did want to know like where he get the story from, right? So it says here in this first quote that I quoted is, "The Bigger Thomases were the only Negroes I know of who consistently violated the Jim Crow laws of the South and got away with it, at least for a sweet brief spell. Eventually, the whites who restricted their lives made them pay a terrible price. They were shot, hanged, maimed, lynched, and generally hounded until they were either dead or their spirits broken." So in the beginning of the essay, he was talking about how Bigger was made from different like black boys in his life, like the ones who didn't abide by the rules and walked to the beat of their own drums and basically like did what the fuck they wanted to do, but ultimately they had to pay the price of being rebellious during those times. And a lot, and if you didn't know, Richard Wright grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. So yeah. It says there were many variations to this behavioristic pattern. Later on, I encountered other Bigger Thomases who did not react to the locked in black belts with the same extremity and violence. But before I use Bigger Thomas as a springboard for the examination of milder types, I'd better indicate more precisely the nature of the environment that produced these men, or the reader will be left with the impression that they were essentially or organically bad. I didn't quote the rest, but I just wanted to add that part in there because it does start with community. These are men or people, because the women had to go through it too, black women. These are men and women during a time where they were thought of as, black people were thought of as not even full human and not even given the same rights or dignity as white people. So in turn, what ends up happening, either a group of people who are just so down on their luck that nothing seems to matter and they seem like they're in it on their own, or the opposite could happen, and then you get groups of people who find community and ways to be happy and experience joy. So both some sort of joy, but it's just crazy that for a long time, our ancestors' lives were nothing but suffering. And we are one of the first few generations that are able to, even though we have suffering in our own way, but we're one of the first few generations to be able to have some semblance of joy greater than that in which they had. That's Jackson right now. Crazy. You want to know what's so crazy is that Mississippi has so much potential. It's just super racist and gerrymandered to hell. But if given the right leadership, Mississippi could probably be the next hub for like some sort of renaissance, especially a black renaissance, because there's so many black people in the SIP. So I would love to see that happen. They just have to get these white ass old racist pieces of shit up out of their goddamn, because there's no way. Why won't it go to the damn quote? Go to the quote. Our right leaderships mysteriously died. Right. Yep. Okay. Boom. press this. Oh my God, there we go. Here's the next quote from How Bigger Was Born. It says here, I think I highlighted this because, yeah, I liked it. It said, I don't know if Native Son is a good book or a bad book, and I don't know if the book I'm working on now will be a good book or bad book, and I really don't care. The mere writing of it will be more fun and a deeper satisfaction than any praise or blame from anybody. I feel that I'm lucky to be alive to write novels today, and when the whole world is caught in the pangs of war and change. Early America, he wrote this in the 1940s, by the way. Early American writers, Henry James and Nathaniel Hawthorne, complained bitterly about the bleakness and flatness of the American scene. But I think that if they were alive, they'd feel at home in modern America. True, we have no great church in America. Our national traditions are still of such a sort that we are not want to brag of them. And we have no army that's above the level of mercenary fighters. This is crazy, but this was 1940s America, crazy. We have no group acceptable to the whole of our country upholding certain humane values. We have no rich symbols, no colorful rituals. We have only a money-grubbing industrial civilization. But we do have in the Negro the embodiment of a past tragic enough to appease the spiritual hunger of even a James, and we have in the oppression of the Negro a shadow athwart our national life, dense and heavy enough to satisfy even the gloomy broodings of a Hawthorne. And if Poe was alive, he would not have to invent horror. Horror would invent him. Oh my God. But yes, I had to highlight that one because I was like, oh yeah. Please. But it's crazy. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Mo. Hold on.
Hi.
I'm gonna have to turn you up. Let's see.
Let me mute you, because good God.
Let's see. All right. Okay. It was a lot going on. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. You'll be sending this book to your father. I say, hey, yeah, your dad would probably love this book, honestly. Oh boy. Your dad would love Polka Dot. Wait a minute. What you doing? What you doing in here? Mo, is there anything that I missed that I didn't say in my summary?
I do have something to say, but it's not related to the book directly. This is kind of related to the things that are happening in the world and the state of Mississippi as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have been seeing online and have kind of seen some people say in this community, but also in other communities. So it's kind of overarching. I understand where people say, you know, Black people just need to move out of Mississippi. I get it. I understand that people feel that, you know, Black people need to move away from unsafe places. However, I think it is inherently anti-Black and racist to assume that the people who stay in this state are doing so because not only that they don't necessarily want to move, some people don't want to move because their whole family lineage is here. And just like white people, we want to continue to have our lineage here. Some people can't move, like they financially can't move, they physically can't move. I think that when we're having these conversations about things that are happening, specifically with the lynchings that have happened here as of late, I don't think that they're any different from if they were to happen in any other state. I think the only difference is that Mississippi has been amplified in the past for things that have happened. And I think that because of that, when things are happening as they have always happened in other states, when it happens to this specific state, Mississippi, people like to go above and beyond and say, oh, it's a trash state, oh, it's a poor state, or it's a whatever state, it's a whatever. There's a lot of culture here in Mississippi. There's a lot of culture. Like it's not just a one type of culture place either. You can go up north in the Delta and you'll see different type of culture. You can go to the coast and you'll see different type of culture. You can be in the central part of Mississippi and there's, east, west. There's all types of different types of cultures in this state. And I think it's irresponsible and negligent to say, leave a place where the population is 75% of Black people that live in the state.
Yep.
To abandon the culture that has been made here. Also, you have to remember that even with the population being 75% Black, that doesn't mean that these people have the education. That's a problem that we've always talked about. A lot of times people always say, we got to go to these major cities in these other states to rally or whatever, but nobody comes to Mississippi. So we have to, if you want to talk about abolishing white supremacy, you got to also be willing to come to these places where a lot of grassroots things were happening and meet with the people who are on the ground and in the community and be willing and able to talk and sacrifice stardom or whatever to see what these people really need and how they can get what they need as far as government is concerned, elections are concerned. Because I always roll my eyes when people are like, oh, Mississippi just, it's a lost cause. It's not. You're just giving up.
Yeah.
You're just giving up. So that's my piece about it. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah. It's a lot of like what Lex said, everybody's blaming the people and not the government. It's a lot of like, it's the same, I feel like, with a lot of southern states, but specifically Mississippi, because it is so Black, the amount of gerrymandering and redlining and just overall lack of care because of not the people, but because of the higher ups doing the things, and because of the education system. Education in the South is in itself could be better, but we know why it is the way that it is, because a majority of Black people in America live in the Southeast. And because of that, the Southeast gets a lot of flack and not a lot of care because of the fact that, and all of that, even though it's a lot more diverse now in America, a lot of things still hold true because of, just like just because of racism and because of how it's insidious. And that's why I was saying, like, I feel like if Mississippi got the care that it deserved, if it had the government that it deserved, Mississippi would be the next place for like something like a Black Renaissance, because it's so Black there. And there's a lot of culture there. There's a lot of history in Mississippi that nobody talks about. And there's a lot of art. I feel like a lot of the authors that we've been reading lately have either had some roots in Mississippi or something in the South in general, but there's a lot of history and a lot of art there and a lot of stories that need to be told. And it gets overlooked every time, because when people think of Mississippi, they do think like, oh, they po, they not smart or whatever. And Alabama is definitely on there as well. Like Alabama kissing cousins. So that's what people say about Alabama. They be kissing their cousins, which is crazy. Because most cousin kissers I know are, let me shut up.
Anyway.
I
just have to say that because I'm tired of people continuously saying, like, I just recently saw a video of a content creator who had gone to I believe it was the grocery store that Emmett Till saw, or where it was alleged that Emmett Till catcalled that white woman. I believe, I can't remember her name, but she went there. Yeah, Deanna got it. And all of her comments were like, girl, you need to get out of there, da, 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 da. And all her comments were like, if you are wanting to make change in a place specifically, or if you are seeing like things are happening in a state that you don't like, you have to go to that place and make a change if that's what you really want to do.
Yep.
Like, one of the things, I lived here all my life, and it wasn't until I went to college that I learned that a lot of things that happened here was because of the of grassroots movements. It wasn't because of the large civil rights leaders. It was because of local leaders, like local, so I don't know. If you really want to know about how Mississippi was in civil rights movements, do your research. Don't just go by Martin Luther King or
Medgar Evers.
Is a great start.
Yeah, Medgar Evers. I thought it was either, I know it was Mississippi or Alabama. I always mix up where he was from. It was the SIP. So.
And I got some. I'm probably gonna cite some books because I got a couple books in the bedroom that are very specific to the grassroots movements that happened in Mississippi. And I almost brought them up, but I
you started.
I got a lot going on in my life, so. Well, I also was cooking, so.
Fair enough. You started checking yourself on using a country accent to mock ignorance as classist and ignorant, so you stopped. Right. If anything, now I just use a Dr. BT accent. But he's the smartest person I know, so it really doesn't, it don't make no sense. But that is a good call out on self, because there's some smart ass country people, and being country and having a country accent being country and having a country accent doesn't mean that you're dumb. That is Deanna smart as hell, but she country than fried catfish when you hear her talk, but she's smart as hell. Deanna, I be hearing Deanna talk, I'll be like, oh my gosh, she's so country, but she's smart though. I don't know shit, but she do. I'm proud of how long you held it in. Y'all know I had to insult BT one good time. It's been a while. It's been an hour. I had to get it out.
So to pivot right quick. As when I read this, I made no notes. I took no notes because the first thing I'll say about this book is that this book is even though it's classified as urban urban literature, or no, urban natural is what is it, narrative, something like that, what they say, work with me, move with me.
It's urban, but it's black.
This book is a damn horror book.
It's scary.
The way that I was anxious from start to finish, and that anytime that I stopped or paused reading this was because I was like, I can't like physically or viscerally move to the next point in the plot. Because you had said something like, the writing was on the wall from the very beginning, and I can't remember the specific passage, but the first book is called, book one of the story is called Fear. So I mean, literally the way that we are first introduced to Bigger and his family are the four of them are in that one room house, if you could even call it that.
A flat.
To a mouse interrupting their joy. I don't know if I can even call it that. Interrupting their morning. And Bigger and his brother Buddy are told to kill it, right? And I don't remember the exact description, but the description that was used, I'm trying to find it right quick as I'm talking. The way that it was described, that Bigger, what happens when Bigger kills this mouse, I think is telling. Right. I think it's very descriptive. I think that there was a moment where Bigger is also looking at his sister Vera in this point too, because I want to bring this up. Bigger just hates women. Bigger, I think, is just misogynistic.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And we can look at it from his mother, who obviously really cares for him, but also we can reasonably say that she nags him. We can say that.
What is that? What is that saying when the mother puts the onus on the son and it kind of makes them their partner? What is it called? You know what I'm talking about, where it's like it's almost emotional incest or something like that.
Yes. Because exactly. Pretty much. And I think that is one of the reasons why Deanna. I think that's one of the reasons why we get the relationship that he has with his family, because one, he hates his family because for multiple reasons. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's obvious that he hates his family because he is not able to do for them in the way that he wants to, and he is expected to do, you know, things that quote unquote men are supposed to do. Like he's supposed to go out and get a job or whatever. But as he stated, like there are things that he wanted to do that he would have hoped that could provide for them, but he's not allowed to do that for whatever reason, whether it be race problems or for whatever educational problems. Because again, this man, or this, because I'm going to call him a young man. I don't think I wouldn't venture to say that he's, even though he's 20, I would still say he's a young man.
Yeah.
He's still, he has an 8th grader's education. Like that's where we are. But in the first part of this book, one of the things that resonated and sat with me a lot was his disdain for his sister. Because you kind of see the ways that his sister was able to do whatever she wanted to do reasonably. I'm gonna say within means, where he wasn't. She was able to have a childhood. She was able to have joy where he couldn't. And so I think that for him, he recognized that, he saw that, and because of that, they butt heads a lot. He took a lot of joy in seeing her upset. Like he did a lot to make her faint, or just upset her a lot. And what's wild is she actually looked up to him. Like there's a lot of times where she like looked to him to, you know, be a older sibling. I wouldn't even say a father figure. I would just say an older sibling. Whereas Buddy too, like Buddy also was looking for him to be an older sibling. Obviously the mother was looking for him to be a provider, which is not, it's very unfortunate for him, because if I remember right, it is important. I think it's important to note why their father wasn't present, because it's not the stereotypical he left or whatever. It's because he was killed. You know, he was killed in war. And so I feel like that also brings bigger responsibility on his shoulders too, because in some families, I'm not gonna say all, but in some families, the dying in war is honorable. So I'm sure Bigger maybe wanted to, because he said he wanted to go into the military. He wanted to do that, the same thing, but he wasn't able. So, you know, first of all, the whole masturbation scene, because I'm jumping here, but the whole masturbation scene was
uncomfortable.
Not only was it uncomfortable, but it took me like reading it a few times for me to really understand what was happening.
Right.
Because I was just like, there's really no way that this surely we're not. But I clearly was incorrect. Yeah, I was clearly.
I guess there
incorrect.
wasn't much to do back in the 1930s, you know.
Well, but that also goes to the point of, you know, when you're uneducated, when you're an uneducated youth without a job, what is there to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You ain't got no money.
Yeah.
And everything costs money, even today.
Literally transportation. And I will say, even though she talked about it a lot, or she vocalized a lot, you know, their mother about how much things cost, and I used to do this, or we used to do that, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She still tried to make things stretch.
Yeah.
So,
and
listen, I had to make sure I was comprehending what was on the page. You know, I had to make sure what I was reading.
Because I was reading, I was like, I know he did not just whip out his tallywhacker and start jorking it in the movie theaters. And that's exactly what he was jorking it. Him and his friend. Disgusting. Ugh.
But it also puts as the stereotypical label of sexual deviance.
Yep, that's what Black people were. They're sexual deviants. They want to steal your daughters and take them and sexually assault them. That was the label. I do have a question. Why do you think Richard Wright chose to make Bigger such a complicated and sometimes unlikable character? Because he isn't likable at all. But there's times
that's the reality.
That he made him so human, but not even like one that you could like really relate with, but he made him like terrible.
Well, I think he told us. I think he said he wrote a character that was, to him, mirror or parallel to the boys that he grew up with. I think that is true to Richard Wright. But I also think that it's true to when we're talking about racism and when we're talking about misogyny and misogynoir, like when we're talking about all of those things, even though Richard Wright didn't seek out to make these points, I don't think he ever sought out to make these points. When we're talking about these things, this is a profile. This is the type of person we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is a person that at the end of the day has done and said and thinks horrible things, but at the heart of it, even though all those things are not excusable, the reasons and the ways that we got to that point is because racism exists, and because he was not able to continue to further his education because education costs money.
Yep.
And because Black people were not able to get money in the amounts that white people were able to get money.
And we were price gouged.
Yes. And housing and all of these things, like these things all go hand in hand. And because the question I was going to ask you was, do you think that at the end of the day, do you think that this story at any point from the start to the bottom could have changed or shifted for Bigger to a different way? Like from the moment we get to waking up for the mouse incident, do you think that Bigger's life from that point could have shifted and gone to a better?
If he wouldn't have went upstairs with that wife, if he would have just left her ass in at least in the dining room or something and just took his ass home. You
don't think that there's a moment before that? A moment before that where he could have like changed his life? Yeah, like anything that he specifically could have done, despite all of the social constructs that are keeping him locked in this way of life, way of thinking.
Because he would have got in trouble one way or another. He was unfortunately unscrupulous. Like we find out that he used to steal from Bessie's employers. Like he would have eventually got caught doing something stupid. And and that is the reality, unfortunately, for like a lot of youth, because it's just like, imagine what people could have become had they had opportunity, right? And unfortunately, Bigger never had opportunity because of the fact that his father died and he was the oldest. And so he had to be the man of his house. And so in a sense, I do get why he resented his siblings, because you see your siblings going to school and getting the love and care that you wanted or needed as a child. But since you've been parentified, you're not allowed to have those feelings and to have a childhood. And even though people will be like, the 1930s is a different time, 20-year-olds, you were really grown. I don't think much has changed mentally from a 20-year-old then to a 20-year-old now. Did 20-year-olds then have more responsibility? Absolutely. But they still had a stupid 20-year-old mind. And just because they were a little bit more responsible doesn't mean that they were fully developed. But because of the way the world was, especially Black people, we weren't allowed to live our full adult lives and learn and make mistakes, because we weren't granted a lot of opportunity, and we had to scoop and save and scrounge for little bits of something. You know, so I think there's nothing unless maybe time and wisdom, but he would have gotten in trouble for something eventually. And yes, he didn't see women as human beings. It is very clear that he was not necessarily, he was very like misogynistic, and or he probably would have ended up doing something to that white girl eventually, because it seemed like there was some sort of attraction. So I don't know. I would like to think if he would have just came home and then just dropped Mary off in the house and left, then maybe he would have been okay, because $25 a week and then the job was stupid easy. Like, you would be dumb to mess that up, right? But
yeah, I agree. I mean, I completely agree.
It's
with
Bigger we talk about.
The chat is saying. Yeah, I agree with everything that everybody in the chat was saying. I like to ask that question because, you know, for some people think that, you know, if you just stay the course and do the right thing, nothing else can influence the way in which you do your day to day. Like, some people don't think about being a product of the situation or stuff like that. So I like to ask that question like that.
Yeah,
because I completely agree. I mean, I completely agree.
But you want to know what it is? I think we would like for that to be a reality in the book, where he was gonna eventually get on the right path and be a solid man, and eventually he would have went to school and got his education and been something. But yeah, go ahead, but I want to piggyback on something you just said. But he's stuck in his own mind, and he feels the way that he feels, and he's young and dumb and stubborn. But maybe wisdom would have caught him some way, somehow. I don't know. But go on with what you was about to say.
So I'm skipping a little bit in the story, but I do want to go back to the education part, because remember, the Daltons have housed a black boy before, a young black man before. They allowed him to do his work. They paid for his education, and he went on to do the education and get his degree and do whatever. Okay. And remember, when we first meet Peggy, and she's letting us know this, Peggy doesn't have any, at least to me, as I was reading, I didn't feel like Peggy had any qualms about Bigger. I didn't feel like she had any,
because she was Irish
or feelings. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, because she asks Bigger if he felt like he might also would like an education, because she asked Bigger how high his educational level is, and of course he responds 8th grade, and she asks him if he would like to potentially get a higher education, and Bigger says something about Peggy that I was kind of surprised about, but also not surprised about. It kind of threw me off that this was his thought process. Especially being in this particular situation, that this is his first time meeting Peggy and this is his first time being in the house of the Daltons for the first time. He says, and don't ask me what page or what section because I don't fucking know, but he says that Peggy asking him about his education and wanting to go back to school reminded him a lot of his mother, and that made him not know if he liked Peggy. Damn. Because he wasn't sure if he should actively want to get a better education because it was something that he himself wanted, or if it was something that Peggy, i.e. in turn his mother, would have wanted for himself. And so I was just like, that blew my mind, because I was just thinking, how many times have we as children of parents who were just kind of coasting life, and we just want to get through this next situation. We're not thinking about shit else, but getting out of this particular situation. And the people that are around us are, whether it's because they really give a damn or they're just making conversation, are asking us about our aspirations or things that we might want to do in the future or whatever. But this particular situation was a little bit different, because this is a young Black person talking to a marginalized white person who has seen this family do works and wonders for other young Black people. Now, I want to make a point and say that Mr. Dalton ain't shit.
Oh,
Mr.
definitely.
Dalton ain't ever gonna be shit.
Oh, definitely.
And I feel like the only reason that he ever did any kind of philanthropy or any
for his own conscience, it was for nothing else.
Not even that. I'm not even gonna say it's for his conscience. I think it was for his wife, because if you remember, the first thing he said was that his wife liked having Black people around. Now, I would love to know the backstory about this. I kind of wish I had done a little bit more research about it, but I don't know if they would really be out there. I want to know what was the point, or what was the thing here, because why would Richard Wright make that point? Why would Richard Wright make that notation?
But I think it has to deal with like well-meaning white people, no matter how well-meaning they are still white. you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
They're still like, even though his wife, she was like, you need to have an education, and she feels like they're giving them opportunities. Like, ma'am, you're actively married to a man who price gouges Black people. So it may be more Black people who could afford educations if you lowered some rent. That's what you should have tried to tell him. Not, oh, let's just get one Black kid per season and train them up and build them up. We'll start with, like, no. And that's why I like when Mr. Dalton was talking about them damn ping pong tables. And then
I love that part too.
Max was like, excuse me, but what the fuck is ping pong tables gonna do to Black youth? What's learning ping pong gonna do for Black youth? And so they're well-to-do and they're well-meaning, but he wouldn't rent out property to Black people in non-Black areas. So it's just, I don't know. Mr. Dalton pissed me off so much, bro. And honestly, how did you feel about Mary Mo? I really need to know how you felt.
So
take your time, Pastor. Take your time.
Admittedly, I'm gonna be completely honest here. This is me. This is my real name talking to your real name. This is me and you talking.
Okay.
There's a lot of times where I completely understood where Bigger was fucking coming from.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of times where I, as a trans Black person, a trans masculine Black person, have been in a room with a white woman, a cis white woman. And it's like, she can see that I'm trans. She can see all of my marginalizations. She can see that, but she doesn't take it seriously. She doesn't understand that anything that could come out of her fucking mouth is gonna put me in any kind of fucking danger.
Yep.
Like, I understood that wholeheartedly. But the difference between me and Bigger is that I don't seek violence for that white woman. Like, I don't, that's not my prerogative. I don't give a damn what that white woman does, because all I'm trying to do is make it the fuck back home, personally. But, and I'm also not trying to perform any, you know, heinous acts against or to white women, because that's just not my cup of tea, number one. Number two, that's just kind of crazy.
Right.
Number three, those types of people, because I didn't want to talk about this, about Mary and Jan specifically. In their...
You said you didn't want to talk about it?
No, I did.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
In their attempts to be, or to think that they were trying to come off as, excuse me, as more accepting, or as people who were down with the cause, they were actually showing that they were just as, if not more racist than the people who were just blatantly racist.
We want to go where the real black people are.
Right. Because what do you mean real black people?
We ain't in a zoo. We in a spectacle.
Right.
Like, oh my God.
Because she kept saying stuff like your people, and I was like, hold on. If you think that, if your whole prerogative as a communist is that all people are the same, why are you, as a person who is trying to sell me this agenda, why are you vocalizing it as a division between black people and white people, or your people and my people? So should it just have been us as a people?
Do you think that she was genuinely progressive, naive, or like something other? I think she had a lot to unlearn, and eventually she probably could have been more progressive.
Absolutely. I think Jan himself was in over his head about everything.
Definitely.
I think he didn't understand who the hell he was with. That's number one.
Leah, please.
Yes, yeah, and then she died.
Damn. Oh my God.
Oh my God. But yeah, I definitely, when my favorite part about this, I'm not gonna hold you, was Bigger's contempt when she started talking about unionization. And I think the thing that made, because I want to be clear, the thing that made Bigger pissed off, in my opinion, wasn't the fact that she was talking about black people and white people should be the same or whatever. It was the fact that he didn't understand it.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't understand any of the things that she was saying. He couldn't comprehend it. Like when she was talking about unions, he didn't even know what the hell it was. So it was purely the fact that this white woman knows more than me as a man.
And why would she bring this up in front of my employer too? Trying to get me got.
And exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Why
he
would
had
you?
no discernment of time and place.
No, like this, I'm trying to get a job, lady. Like, leave me alone.
You want me to sit on your ticket? Let me do my damn job.
Right. Shit. Not Mary definitely would have worked as a head of nonprofit in 2026 and start crying when called racist because she adopted an African child. But yes, yeah, she would have definitely been one of those. I don't know. I think she, but I don't know. We didn't see that much of her. I think she was a little bit naive. I don't think she was genuine yet. You know,
no, I agree, because on the first day, I agree. That pissed me off so bad, because I'm like thinking, you gonna jeopardize my first fucking day of work because you want to go fucking lillygag with this white man? Excuse my language, but I'm not gonna say it. But damn.
Oh my God. The first day had him hanging out with communists. Crazy.
Right.
And you want to
Had
know
him
what's so
hemmed
crazy? That was even him hanging out with communists that night. Even if he didn't kill her, he could have still got in trouble for that shit and gotten
Yes.
fired or arrested because they wasn't playing around with communism back then. You know.
And that whole scene of him being put in the middle like a fucking child.
Right.
Like, all I could think about was the infantilization that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got Bigger in the middle. I'm just sitting here thinking of his ass sitting, because I don't know how them cars was made back in that time. So I don't know where the gear shift and all that shit was at.
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm thinking is this black man sitting in the middle of the front seat and the passenger front seat.
The gear shift used to be on the steering wheel. You know, the one that used to pull.
So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So listen. Y'all got this man just sitting in the middle like he's a fucking prisoner. Because I mean, throughout the whole series, it's a whole book. He pretty much is a damn prisoner.
Yep.
So different things, but I mean, ultimately,
she tried to
pissed me right the hell on off.
If he wouldn't have got in trouble for her murder, he would have got in trouble for something from that night.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree that Jan was using Mary too. She was definitely naive.
Oh yeah, because he was like, I need you to pay for somebody's bail.
That shit had me.
I said, girl, you at ATM. Hello? Didn't even know.
Also, I just needed Bigger to just. There was a lot of times where Bigger was talking about like just the sexualization of situations, because if we're talking about like in this particular moment when Jan and Mary are on the back seat and they're drinking or whatever, and he's like watching, first and foremost, if I know I done had something to drink, I'm not worried about what the two people in the back seat is doing. I'm trying to get us the hell on back to wherever we need the hell to go.
Right.
I'm not worried about that.
He just wanted his little dangalang wet all the time. Ew, wow, I can't stand a man like that.
And furthermore, and if that was the case, don't he got a girlfriend? Like that's my point.
He wanted some new meat. Because remember when he got the job, the little brother was like, because remember he was like, Bessie said you gonna marry her, and then Bigger was like, I ain't marrying that girl. And then Buddy was like, oh, you could get, now that you got a job, you could get a girl better than Bessie. I said, oh my word, not like that man from Driving. Please don't remind me. I hate that story. I hate that story. Ugh, it just sounds so it's cringy. I don't know. Yeah, Mary pissed me off. I'm glad we have the same view, because I wanted to like her, but it was just too much.
No, Pooh, you're right. He didn't marry her. He did not.
Yeah, he didn't marry her.
And also, I do need to say one thing specifically about Bigger and
Bessie.
Our good sis Bessie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's about the trial. It's about the trial. I don't remember if you said this because I was in there cooking some shrimp.
No, I didn't talk about. I didn't get all deep in the trial because it was a lot.
The biggest part of this story that kind of pissed me off was not only when we find out that Bessie didn't die from the circumstances of which, you know, he perpetuated the violence on her. She died because of she froze to death.
Yeah.
But also the fact that they took her body into the courtroom, had our good sis
naked
out on display for the world to see. And that right there, I could have just closed the book and never opened it right the hell on back up. Yep. I could have just
because how many times
like that was and I feel like that was more to Max's point, because Max was like, we really gonna sit up here and just act like we're not violent to black people on a regular basis, and then y'all bring this woman in here naked and she's dead, and y'all don't even bring good sis's bones in here. Y'all don't even do all that. Y'all just
yeah, because how many times have black women in the past been experiments to the medical field and shit like that, and dehumanized over and over again?
Lavender.
Not you. Get Mr. Wright on the line. I need to read another one of his books because somebody in here said that a lot of the who was it that was like we need to discuss how black men deal with their frustration of white supremacy and take it out on black women. Who said that? Because I need to read another one of his books to see if that's the case in a lot of his books. Because if that's the case, then Richard Wright, you ain't shit on that one. Because why is that a thing? You as a black man, why are you mad at black women because of white supremacy? Why must you take it out? If you want to know what it's like, there's a conversation between James Baldwin and I know her name.
Oh, damn it, Leash.
I know her name.
Shay.
What's her name, y'all? Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. It was between, I don't think, was it Audrey?
I know who you're talking about.
Nikki Giovanni.
Thank you.
And basically when she's like, you fake it with the white man, how come you can't fake it with me? You when you go to the white man, you are pleasant and nice and smiling, and you come home to me and give me the worst of you. Just like, I don't want the worst of you, I want the best of you. You know, if you could fake it for the white man, fake it for me. Why I gotta get the angry and the hurt and the mad? And man, but when I say it's the fucking truth though.
Yeah.
It's like, right, why you beating my ass? Because the white man ruins your day. Right, I ain't ruin your day. I love that conversation between them, which is so funny because both of them are queer as hell. Two gay people. Two gay people on the stage talking like, you know, but it rings true in every form of love though. You know.
Right, because siblings and and parents and aunts and uncles, and yes, because I would have to agree. I would have to agree.
Not and with their white partners.
Yes,
yeah.
And with their white partners. I'm so glad somebody else fucking brought it up.
Yeah.
I was like, do I say it or do I leave it?
And unfortunately, most of our leaders from back in the day had in academics had white partners. Angela Davis has a white partner. Everybody has a white partner. But I understand why that's the case, because unfortunately in academia, depending on where you study, a lot of times people in academia date other people in their fields. And if you're in a field where it's mostly Caucasians, you might just end up with a Caucasian. So
well, all I'm gonna say is this.
Yeah.
Deanna is black. So when I get this master's degree and I'll be up all in the academia stuff, don't y'all come to me saying no bullshit. Deanna is black.
Black. Zim is black.
Zim is black. Right, Pooh.
Okay, y'all, it happens though. I see, but you got to think. Okay, I think in our generation it changed because we have a lot more black academics.
I have to agree. Yeah.
We have a lot more black academics, but think about black academia. Yeah, think about black academia back in the time of James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni. There wasn't that many. You know, we have better access, right? The black educated men ain't making it off campus. Maya. I should time you out. I timed out tape earlier. Well, I'm not gonna time you out.
My sister is snatching him up so quickly, and you're correct.
Oh my God. It was hard to read this book because of that. Bigger has no choices in his life, no power, no freedom. And he takes his frustration, anger out on Bessie, his family, his friends, in order to feel some power choice. Which is crazy because he killed Mary by accident. He killed Bessie on purpose.
And the intent, and it was so full of intention. And it was violent intention. And it was so full of intention that he when he did it the first time, he went back to make sure he did it correctly.
Exactly.
To make sure that it was, you know, and still it didn't kill him. Oh, pissed me off.
And not only did he kill her, he sexually assaulted her before he killed, and he knew he sexually assaulted her with the intention and knowing that he was going to kill her after.
And that
and that's why Bigger deserved less. But it still made me angry when that DA went in the courtroom and called him every slur He called him a woolly-haired black lizard. I said, "Oh, I am calling Darren that tomorrow."
Let me just say, did you listen to the audiobook for this?
No, I read it.
Okay. if anybody who hasn't read this book and plans to or wants to or thinks about reading this, and you want to, you know, whatever, and you feel like listening to the audiobook is better for you, I would have to say that narrator did the fucking thing for this book.
Yeah, I tried to.
So a fun fact about this book. The Book of the Month Club, if you're familiar with the Book of the Month, it is a book club, a national book club that has been around for 100 years now.
Ooh.
But it didn't come back into resurgence until 2015. So it was like they sold until finally a company came out and bought it, and now they have this subscription box thing.
Ooh.
Beloved was was it Beloved?
Oh God, I can't read
Am I
Beloved.
tripping? I think Beloved was a Book of the Month pick for Book of the Month. And Native Son. Native Son was the first Black piece. Was the first piece by a Black person that was ever picked for the Book of the Month Club.
Really?
This was in 1940. It was a 1940 selection.
Around when it was written. That's cool.
So I got this. That's the version that I have. So I have their centennial version or whatever. But anyway, back to the audiobook. When we're talking about the dialogues between the
DA,
prosecution, and the defense, that audiobook really helped me get through that part.
Yeah, it was a lot.
My God. My God.
That DA went, I was like, whoa. He went in. He kept calling him this black beast, this stain on the human race. This, he even called him a half human something or another. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, like he literally starts by saying,
"What's up, Lady
and this
Mort?"
is how you should know that the way that he is finna start just being whatever. He literally says, "Your Honor, we all dwell in the land of the living. Law abides the will of the people. As an agent and servant of the law, as a representative of the organized will of people, I am here to see that the will of the people is executed firmly and without delay. I intend to stand here and see that that is done, and if it is not done, then it will only be over my most solemn and emphatic protest."
Yeah.
And then, as a prosecuting officer of the state of Illinois, I come before this honorable court to urge that the full extent of the law, the death penalty, the only penalty of the law that is feared by murderers, be allowed to take its course in this most important case. And honestly, we need to talk about why this case specifically was fucking important. Because we were I don't think we ever brought it up. Like, we brought up the fact that, you know, there was communists, there was communists or whatever. Jan was a communist and married by some extension. I think she was in training, but whatever.
Very much so.
The reason why this case was so important is because you have a Black man who has committed a heinous crime against a white woman, but also potentially involving the Communist Party.
Yep. It was like a 2 for 2.
Dalton, yes. And Mr. Dalton says, even at some point, he says, like, I don't want to call the police because I know that when I do, the Communist Party is gonna be up in arms, and they're gonna have the TV and the news and all them people up here.
Yep.
Like he makes that correlation, and I was like, you know what, Dalton, you right, but you still ain't shit. And so anyway, I feel like we were, by the time we got to the case, we had stopped looking at whether or not Bigger was actually innocent, and we're looking at what would get the DA more quickly, more effectively to his seat in office.
Yeah, he was up for re-election, so he had to push. It was a two birds, one stone situation. Not only can I get rid of or kill this black man who murdered this white woman and secure my vote that way, I can knock the Communist Party down a peg or two. Correct. Like I'm pretty sure he won his election.
Oh, definitely. Because even if we were to look at Max, like Leah, is that how you say that? Leah Marie. It just like Leah is saying.
Yeah, Leah.
Both sides were using this politically.
Yeah.
Like the death sentence shouldn't be used only for life. And while I did like a lot of things that Max was saying, I still was kind of giving him the sideline too. Cause
yeah. So did you trust Max?
I had started to, but I'm gonna tell you when I realized I couldn't.
Okay.
There is a part towards the end of the book. I don't know where it starts, but it's kind of like the last few pages. It's where Bigger is literally realizing that he doesn't want to die, and he's starting to realize his hopes and his dreams. And there was some parts of the book where Bigger does these inner monologues. It's not a lot, but he does these inner monologues and starts to actually, you start to see who Bigger is outside of his circumstance. And they're very few and far in between. Yeah. But it's the last time that Bigger does this, but he's vocalizing it. And it felt like Max wasn't hearing anything he said.
Was it near the end after he got his sentence?
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes, because it was one of those things where it's like, even though this man is slated to die, you can still take what he's saying and comfort him in this moment, because that's what you claim to have been wanting to do all this time anyway. Yeah. So, but at that moment, I was like, yeah, this is a person who just wanted to further their political agenda, and when they lost, it just, you could tell he cared, but it wasn't. You know when it became iffy for me, when he was asking him all of them questions. Like, I understand he was trying to build a case, but a lot of those questions that he asked during that part came off as judgmental. Because remember when he asked him about Mary, like, basically like, you just killed a well-to-do white woman because of the fact that, I forgot what he said, but it was like, damn, like, oh yeah, when he didn't remember the questions that he asked Bigger. He didn't even remember the questions. Like, it was all, I feel like at that point I was like, oh, this is kind of a performance, you know. It's like any political agenda, whether it be the Republican, Democrat, socialist, communist, whatever, it's a political agenda. They're going to do what they can to make you believe in what it. Now, some of them do have good either intentions or good policy, right? But that doesn't stop persuasion and manipulation from happening, you know? Right. So it was just at that point where he asked all those questions, and then a lot of those questions came off as judgmental. And then near the end, he didn't even remember the questions that he asked them. He didn't even remember that Max asked Bigger. He didn't remember none of the questions he asked. So it was like, what did you really do this for? Did you really do this to save save him as much as you could, a Negro boy who just so happened to go down the wrong path and murdered 2 times, and you know, you understand the circumstances, but he still got to pay for his actions? Yeah. Or did you do this for your own thing? That's a good question. Do we think that he actually went to the governor?
I think he did actually. I think he would have the gumption to go to the governor, but just to say, just to say he did it. Yeah, I think he did.
Because I feel like we already knew what the governor was going to say. The governor had already made his peace with it when they had started locking down the city.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say those scenes too were funny as fuck to me, and I don't know why. I don't know why I was laughing.
What?
The whole time I was reading when Bigger. It starts, I think, with the scene of those two black men that are in that house, and they're talking about what happens. They're talking to each other of like what happens when if you see
I'ma give his ass up.
Yes.
He said, "I'm gonna give his ass up." The other dude's like, "Really?"
That was such a real conversation, and I like that the conversation was added because this whole time we're talking about how white people perceive a black person, and it's very rare that we got a chance to talk about how black people were perceiving
other black people
in this specific situation. And I do like that was there in the story because you had two sides of the coin. One man was like, "Man, fuck that, we giving that nigga up," and the other man said, "No."
But would you be? I would if I was that, because that other man who said he was going to give him up was mad because he lost his job because white people were like, "Oh, this one black man killed this one white girl, so now all of y'all gonna lose y'all jobs."
Yeah,
and so
he was valid.
Yep, and he lost his job because there was like a lot of mobs, like the white people was going around mobbing the black people neighborhood. So the employer was like, "I can't have you on because you're in danger, so I'm just gonna lay you off." I'd be pissed off too, and it's in the Great Depression. You know, I'm a job. You made me lose my job, nigga. I'm turning your ass in so I can get some some money.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. But I understand both sides because the other dude was like, "What makes y'all think he even did it? You know, white people lie on us all of the time. It's not like this is a situation somebody could have did it and now they're blaming it on the black dude that lived there just because he's the black dude." So you can see both sides of the conversation and be like, damn. But we, the reader, know he did it. And that's why I sided with the other dude, because I know he did it. But if I didn't know if he did it or not, or if I knew he didn't do it, of course I would side with the other dude. So
yeah. And Carbetti asks is a good question. Like, how does he ultimately feel about choosing this ending for Bigger? And what's funny about this is, because I didn't read any of the after parts. I plan to read these later.
What? Why did he make Bigger? I think.
Well, no. Why did he write this ending?
Yeah, I think he said it in the why did he make Bigger? Because basically he was saying, I read the two passages earlier. Basically he was saying like, eventually you're gonna have to pay in this America that we live in. Eventually you're gonna have to pay the price. So I guess that was him making the story as realistic as possible based on the other Biggers that he accounted for in his life. Because this Bigger in this story is just an amalgamation of all of the Biggers he's ever met in his life. He told a story about like Bigger number one was this little boy who they used to play with on the playground, who would push everybody and take their toys and beat them up. And the only way they would get their toys back is if they, made it seem like it was his idea and placate to him. And then there was another Bigger who would sit on the white side of the bus, and he would tell the people to like piss off and like show his knife, and even white people didn't mess with him. Then eventually he ended up being in jail or like getting murdered or something. So this was basically saying like, yeah, you could be big and bad and you can, do the things, even though we know a lot of the reason is the situations we grew up in. Cause even the thing where he was like, I don't want y'all to think that they were inherently bad people. This is just what happens when you live in a system, And I think even if you're living in a system, there's consequences to your own actions. And there was no way without something magical happened that Bigger was going to live. And I think that it just called to the reality of the situation, especially in the 1930s. There was no way that man was going to live.
I want to talk about this last sentence of this essay. Have you looked at the last sentence of this essay?
The one where he's like talking about Hawthorne and Edgar Allan Poe and
that sentence?
Yeah.
They said, and if Poe was alive, he would not have to invent horror. Horror would invent him.
Yep. And he wasn't wrong. He was not wrong. That was a bar.
Get him in the booth. Get him in the booth.
That was a bar. This reminds you of Snowfall. Oh my God. I've never seen Snowfall, but of course I've seen the ending because people like to spoil things. But I saw the ending. I said, oh my God. Because that is a scary reality for a lot of people who live life fast. And with bigger situations.
I don't watch TV, so honestly, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, Snowfall.
Read up on that.
Snowfall, you should watch Snowfall. I think you would like Snowfall. But Snowfall is in this book, it's like you could live life fast or whatever, but eventually that reality is going to catch. There's only a few people who don't have to pay for the consequences of their actions, and unfortunately 99% of those people are white. In America, at least. I can't account for anything anywhere else, but in America there's only a few people who don't reap the consequences. We have one in office right now. That man's gonna die living the best life that he could ever have lived at the expense of other people, at our pain, and this is not our lifetime to see him suffer. He's gonna come back as a fucking gnat.
Damn.
I mean, hey, this is not his lifetime for consequences, but unfortunately, being Black in America, you have to move a certain way, especially back in the 1930s. Do y'all think Richard should have wrote more about the execution, like up until the point where Bigger actually dies? I think we got everything that we needed out of him, Bigger, in that situation. I feel like we've seen him go through like all of the motions. Like, I'm okay with dying. I don't really care about dying. I don't want to die. Why do I feel bad about killing her? I don't feel bad about killing her. And he never said he felt bad about killing Bessie ever.
Yeah, ever.
Which is crazy. But
I think that it's a good place. I think we stopped at a very good place.
Because he was scheduled to die in a couple of hours too. It was the day he was supposed to die, yeah.
Because we are left with
Anyone ever read the deep cut of a book? The deep cut.
That deep cut of a book.
That deep cut? What you talking about?
That reminds me of the coldest winter ever.
Oh my God, that story.
I have that on my TBR.
I read it when I was a child. I need to reread it as an adult. Because there's certain things that I know I did not understand when I think I read that shit in middle school. Or maybe, I think it was middle school. I don't even think I was in high school reading the coldest winter ever. But I think I'm a revisit it as an adult. You know, were y'all satisfied? I think I was satisfied with the ending. I think it ended at it seemed a little rush.
Damn, Maya.
But
God damn,
your dad lives that book. Hello?
Well, good God,
Maya.
I'm gonna be thinking about Maya's dad the entire time.
Maya's dad is such an interesting person.
Loves that book. I was gonna say Maya.
Oh, I was about to say lives that book. What the hell, your daddy doing? Thank you, Bojangles, for the 10 months. I appreciate. Thank you. But
I think I was okay with the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I think there would not have been any other. I'll say that I like that we finally get some sort of emotion that isn't presumably negative from Bigger.
Yes.
Because it felt like the entirety of the book we were just getting negative feelings from Bigger.
Yeah.
Which,
he was kind of he was kind of emo.
Kind of.
He was very emo. Oh,
but
God.
I mean, you could kind of tell like he was. Of course, there's a lot of reminiscing of what could have been and whatever.
Yeah. But but unfortunately, it was up to him, but a lot of stuff wasn't up to him. There wasn't a lot of opportunity, and that kind of, and knowing, and you know that there's not a lot of opportunity, because it's not like, if you think about the world we live in now, right? We do have a lot more opportunity, but even in terms of like just picking up your life, and you could move and more frequently than people back in the 1930s could move. You know, we don't have to worry about, we still have to worry about some things that our peoples back then had to worry about, but it's a little bit more freeing now, you know? And I think he's just going through that age or that stage where you look at how many 20-year-olds come in here and be like, oh my God, Leash, I feel like my life is just, oh, I should be a millionaire by now. I'm 23. But it was really true to them because they had way more responsibilities. But then add being Black into the equation in the 1930s. Even though segregation was not allowed in Chicago, a very segregated Chicago. You know, I think not. That's how it feels. Oh, hush, Moon Lady. I ain't fooling with you today. I don't know. I just think I think he was going to be in trouble no matter what, because I just think that's just who he was as a person. Some people are just a little bit, I don't want to say bad, but some people take more risk. Let's just say that. That's a better way to put it than others. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a part of me that wanted Bigger to get it, but that wasn't his path. That wasn't his fate, especially because it's been written. So yeah.
I think that the ending was, I like the ending because you get this feeling that maybe even though he doesn't have a lot of time left, he doesn't die without knowing what he wanted. Yeah. Even if he's not able to get those things. There's like the thing of there's the thing of leaving this earth and not knowing what you want versus leaving this earth and knowing, even if you're not able to achieve it. Because perhaps, I don't know, you know, maybe it's a whole destiny thing, whatever. But I don't know. I do like that we don't see the execution, because I feel like him making peace with himself is the end of the violence for him. Even if violence is still done for him, he's not doing violence to himself. And so I like the ending for that reason. Obviously it's implied that he is killed. Yeah. Or there's the presumption that he is killed. He goes and is executed. But I do like that it's still open. There's a lot of open questions that we still have about things that have happened. Like, we still don't know, and if we really even care about how the Daltons are going to rebuild after the things that have happened to their child, or how
their only child.
Well, yeah. And also if they're going to even take in any more Black children or any more Black people after this, or like what are the repercussions of that? Like, are they going to stick to their prejudice? You know, are they going to heighten their prejudice, or are they going to stick to what they have always done and keep moving on? Or is it, because even during the trial situation, like what's the baby name? What's the lady name?
Who?
The wife.
Oh, Miss Dalton?
Mrs. Dalton, yeah. Mrs. Dalton was still trying to help, even though she, and I'm gonna say this, and this is all I got to say about Miss Dalton. I think Mrs. Dalton is the only white character in this story outside of, no, I'm gonna say it. I think Mrs. Dalton is the only white character in this story that really didn't have any prejudice. And I think the reason for that is because, she's blind. Because, and I think
maybe,
and I feel like, sure, Peggy, I think that Peggy,
do you think it took for her getting blind to be that way though? Or
and see, that's another question. But because earlier, like, one of the things that I kept thinking about was, why specifically does Mrs. Dalton, like, I feel like it was such a point of Mr. Dalton saying, and he could have just been saying it for whatever, like he could have just been saying it just to say it. But I feel like Richard Wright wouldn't have written it, and maybe I'm just harping over a small detail, wouldn't have written it that way if she really didn't feel that way. Like, the reason that he does all this philanthropy is because of his wife. And she was the one that made sure that the other person that they had in their home got their education. She was the one that spearheaded all that stuff, not him. Yeah. He just got the money.
Right. I think it was intentional. I think her being blind was intentional, and not even as just like a plot device to kill off Mary, because there could have been plenty of other ways where he could have written that, you know. I think her being blind was an intentional thing. And that's a very, like, you bringing that up is interesting, because after a certain point though, it's just like, if you're blind, there is no, because you can't see, there is no white or black. It's just what you hear and what people are saying. And what people are saying, like, you could hear the dumbest motherfucker in the world and the cruelest motherfucker.
Fair, Maya.
And you know, they just so happen to be white, and then you hear, it's all about what you hear and like the intention behind it, as opposed to what you see in front of you. And you can't even make that stereotype, or that
even that fucking cat was more prejudiced than she was.
Not the cat. The cat tried to give him up too. Sat on his ass like, here, this motherfucker right here, it's him. That's crazy. I feel like there's also a cultural difference for how black versus white people treat disabled family. Yeah. Hitting.
Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong in saying she's the only one. I might be wrong, but it just felt like, I don't know. It just felt very weird to me that was. I don't know.
Blind white folks in this era often had black nannies and nurses taking care of them, because white folks were also seeing disabled folks as less human, and blind folks had a little bit more respectability because they had schools for the blind and deaf, and racism was still a big issue too. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I have cousins, aunties just called touched, that she's intellectually disabled and generally cared for, even if never diagnosed. Yeah, I have a couple cousins like that too. I actually like the word touched. I like when people use the word touched more so than the R word. You know, I feel like that's a more polite way to say that, you know, they're not diagnosed, but we know something's there, type of situation.
Oh, no, I don't think that Peggy was racist. I do think that she did have prejudice though.
Yeah. Who, Peggy? You think so?
there was a lot of times where she never said it, but there's a lot of times that it was written as a descriptor. Like if you like when it's the part where there's times where Peggy is like, you can kind of tell Peggy is kind of piecing it together in her mind that Bigger might have something to do with this, because she not only did she suggest it, but she's when she's the private investigators are there before and in between his interaction with them. There are times where Peggy is just pausing in the room with him, and like and Bigger even says like he wonders if she can see my guilt, like the guilt written on me plainly.
Peggy did the thing that I hate that spicy white people do. I'm Irish, so I understand you black people here in America.
Yes.
I hate when spicy white people do that shit. It irks my soul. Like, please shut up. Please. Okay, we know when you first got here, yeah, white people weren't feeling y'all, but it didn't take y'all long to assimilate and tap into that white skin. We get it, but please don't give me that. We understand.
Yes, Crow Patty's saying that with all her money, yes.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Because Peggy could have been retired and moved on and had a little whatever. Peggy could have been gone.
Irish wasn't considered white back then, but white enough for them to not have to deal with. They were in
Maya.
Leah. They were in Chicago. Irish was white in Chicago. Irish wasn't, because the Irish people, he even said most of our stores are owned by the Irish, or did he say the Italian? He said something, either Irish, Italian. I think it was the Irish, the Greeks, and the Jewish people. That was what their stores were owned by. Yes, because that was probably the only places where Irish people, Greek people, and Jewish people could build their stores. But I bet you they lived across the line with those white people.
I swallow.
Is that the lovely, wonderful, amazing, spectacular, fantastic, exceptional Mo the Sheep? Yes, Walsh. Jesus Louises.
Not an assortment of crackers. Damn.
They were, the Irish people, yes, they weren't considered white, but they were able to live in white neighborhoods. Most definitely.
Deanna said they was them shortbread cookies that was in that box that you get around Christmas time that your grandma uses for her sewing kit.
Yep, it's like that picture that Maya put in the white bread, ultra pure white. Roman, what was that? It was like Roman something. I was like, that's exactly what it is. So the I understand you because we're Irish was very apt, because she was saying that to them while owning the literal land and business in the neighborhood. They were white enough to buy ownership of black folks. But yeah, she did.
I said that about Miss Dalton, and then as I'm sitting here and thinking, because my brain does that thing where it just thinks and thinks and thinks. Couldn't help but think though, at some points in times where this felt like, some of this felt like how we talk about white men are the ones who perpetuate violence, but white women are the ones who organize it. Not that she did anything or said anything, but I thought about that a lot. It made me think about that a lot.
I find it really funny that, and I feel like this is the insidiousness of racism as a whole. You can sit up there and murder, enslave, sexually assault, behead, eat black people for centuries. And yet black people in America or in any in any country where there was enslavement, Black people get the label as murderers and sexual assaulters and just and deviants. When and a prime example of this is when Bigger did what he did, and he did what he did, and he deserved to go to jail. And he deserved to, he did what he did. Instead of sending just an organized group of people going door to door, just trying to find them, you know.
They uprooted the whole community.
It's a mob of white men going through, smashing windows, rioting, and all of that stuff, trying to find one singular solitary Negro. They didn't have to do all of that.
Not even just houses. It was businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, yeah, I will destroy this town for one person. Exactly.
Yes, it is. I know what it was. It was to send a message to make sure that the Blacks are still scared of us and that they should never do that to our women, our ovaries. But
I just want to say, I do want to say that I found a little comfort in this story, that this story was set in Chicago.
Yeah, not in the South.
Because the amount of times that a story like this is written in the South.
Yeah. And it could have easily been written in Mississippi because he's from Mississippi.
He's from Mississippi.
Yeah, it could have easily, but I mean, Chicago ain't nothing but Mississippi 2.0, Mo.
That's, you know.
the whole state of Mississippi, Chicago, that 2.0, Mississippi 2.0 is Chicago. The Irish assimilated, there's identity the Irish lost in exchange for being accepted as white. If someone with Irish ancestors actually understands, they would not try to diminish the experience of Black Americans by weaponizing their own history. Exactly. Like, at the end of the day, Irish people, Italian people, depending on where in Italy they're from, because some of them do get a little tan, but for the most part, you came here with white skin. Like, did you go through hardships? Absolutely. But to equate it to the struggle of Black people in America, that's just something I can't stand by. And I will just either shut off my ears or politely tell somebody to shut the fuck up, because what are we even talking about here? Like, as soon as I walk out the house, you know I'm Black. You walk out the house, ain't nobody saying, oh, that is definitely an Irish person with Swedish ancestry as well, mixed in with maybe a little bit of Italian. Nobody says that shit. We live in America. What's up, Lo Punny?
Damn.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, overall, I like that this story made the character unlikable, but yet so human. And yet there were times, even I myself, even though I know he was a dirty dog and needed to be in jail before, especially for what he did to Bessie.
Period.
There was quite a few times where sometimes I was actually rooting for him, and I don't know what it was. It was around the time where he was getting like questioned by like the detective, or when he was, you know, getting basically berated in court by the DA. There were times where I'm like, okay, now.
Because there are semblances in that where you can still see the child in the person.
Yeah.
And I, again, I agreed with the life sentence and not the death penalty here. Because, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I have my thoughts about the death penalty. Personally, I feel like some people should have and some people should not, you know, whatever. But
I'm the same way.
You know, and I think it's different because we have a different viewpoint on this individual, because we have literally been with him from the start of his story to the point of the things that have happened, whereas people on trial don't have that opportunity. They don't have that right. They don't have that, the luxury of knowing where we started and how we got here.
Right.
So that's just the privilege of the reader.
And I think it would be, I feel like giving him the death penalty, I don't want to say it's the easy way out, but he needed to sit with those consequences of his actions a little bit more.
I agree.
He needed to sit with that. I feel like the death penalty should be for the murderers who did some heinous shit and don't give a fuck that they did it. You know, all right, let's just get your ass up out of here, because you obviously ain't going to atone, and you probably are going to live with these images in your mind, and you're going to probably do crazy shit with, you know. But some people need to sit.
Yeah, when the DA threw in them extra charges, I said, hold up, nigga.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did you come from?
Right.
Who the fuck is these other women? Hello?
Oh, what about that lady up the street? Did you do? Oh, we know you did that.
I don't know who that sister is. All right.
Oh
yeah,
my
that,
God.
That pissed me off too, because I'm like, hold on, because it's like, the thing I liked about this story, even though it pissed me all the way off, was I like that you can be angry about a lot of different things and you can be valid in feeling one way about the character, but still be upset about other things that happens to these characters.
Yeah.
Because hell yeah, I'm not gonna be okay with you trying to pin this assault charge on this man, even though he didn't do it. Did he do it to these other two people? Absolutely. But we don't know that. We don't know them other 5 women. We don't know them.
Like, no, don't you do that. Don't you do that.
Yeah.
You go find a real killer. How about that? And then
right.
you
do your job, sir.
And 9 times out of 10, the real killer wasn't even a black man.
Exactly. Probably was her brother.
Or some white dude or that's respectable in the neighborhood and was pinning on a black dude and smooth it over. So yeah, I don't know. That kind of pissed me off. So I said, oh no, he didn't. That low down dirty dog.
Exactly. Because if you want to talk about statistics, anyway. Yeah.
Oh boy, but I don't know. I feel like this story, I was saying that it's ahead of its time, but no, it is exactly the time that it's in.
Yeah.
It is what was going on at the time.
Yeah, it's the same way that when we were reading, or any time that I have known to read Parable of the Sower, Parable of Talents, it's very parallel to what's happening at the time that you read it.
Yeah. And even just the hopelessness of youth now. And I was trying to tell my mama this the other day, but in her mind, she was like, my parents have been saying the same thing about youth for the last like 40 years, but they be walking around with their Jordans and I'm like, girl, mommy, nobody likes Jordans anymore like that.
No, fuck them. They're expensive.
You're right.
Nobody even really care about the man who got, anyway. That's another conversation.
That's always their talking point. They got on the latest shoes and I'm like, Mom, you're not tapped into what's going on. Like the youth nowadays, they feel hopeless. And just because they have things doesn't mean that their feelings are invalid. I was like, a lot of people are seeing that hard work does not equate to a comfortable and stable life. And with all of these layoffs and everything that's going on, it's like a lot of things are out of our own hands. And so a lot of youth are growing up, even though it's not necessarily overt racism, it's starting to become that way with all these goddamn lynchings and everything that's going on. And it's constantly being plastered on the news, but it's not as bad as the 1930s, you know. But we're starting to see like bigger in a lot of youth today, like black men or like black people, young black people in general. It's very parallel. And it's crazy because we live in a society where, yes, right now, a lot of shit is out of our hands. There is no more work hard, let's get some money, let's stack. There is no more stacking money, which is crazy. Even working 2 jobs was stacking money. Working 2 jobs is making enough money to be sure that you're able to pay your bills. So there is none of that. Like, just thinking about like back in 2018, I made like 60,000 that year. Lived a good, not from consecration. I was still serving and bartending and stuff like that. But that was good money in 2018. Oh, amazing. thing. $60,000 now.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, and just thinking of going back to your point of like, you know, just because the kids have the things doesn't mean that the things are gonna make the physical things are gonna make the kids feel whole. Like somebody was saying, that doesn't give the people connections, that doesn't give the people the feeling that they matter, that doesn't give the people the fulfillment that they need when it comes to what's happening in the world. There's a lot of times where I hear people say that they see something that's happening in the news, or they get on social media and there's a very, very triggering video, a very graphic video, and they watch it and they feel nothing. And then they have to sit with the fact that they don't feel anything. And then you're starting to ask yourself, like, you put yourself in this existential crisis or this loop, because it's like, why do I feel nothing seeing these videos of these people being taken off this earth time and time again, and nothing's happening about it? So yeah, like, money don't mean a fucking thing when at the end of the day we can't feel anything.
It says kids, Leah says kids and adults don't even have third places. No, there's nothing that it you have to spend money to have a good time. 50,000 is lower class. It is, which is crazy. Like, and to your point, because I grew up with a wild west internet. If you don't know how, Alicia Capiche is a little old, so older than a lot of you all in here. And I'm not the oldest person in the world, but I was on wild west internet. I remember watching stuff on old school 4chan and like stuff I wasn't supposed to see. And even though the internet's a little bit safer now, the kids are definitely more desensitized now than we were.
I can write a dissertation about this, about how the boys and girls clubs now feel like they have been gentrified and taken away from the marginalized communities. I can write a
definitely
fucking gentrification about this.
Definitely. Or even taken out of communities that really need them anymore. Yeah. Definitely. That's man. So it's like, I'm kind of happy that we read this book. It came at a good time, you know, because you're starting to see it. These kids, and it's like, just imagine having all of the information in the world at the palm of your hands, having all of the tools that you need. Most of us, most, not everybody, but most kids have everything that they need at the palms of their hands, i.e. the internet and their phones, and not being able to live a fulfilling life because of the bullshit that's going on with like layoffs and like even having a master's degree or a doctorate. Now we have Dr. B&T in here every day. Still, even though he has a job in his mind, you know, he's a doctor. He's a doctorate. He should have having a doctorate back in the day was like, you were set for fucking life. Okay. You found you a little cushy job, you're good. Now, it seems like, even though I still implore people to go to college, a lot of this shit doesn't even seem like it matters anymore, bro. Because they're taking away all of the jobs. And it's just like, look at all of the layoffs in the gaming industry. You know, and it's not like the gaming industry is losing money either. The gaming industry is probably the richest it's been in a long time. And it boomed during the pandemic when people were trying to find other outlets that they could do in the house. So these people aren't losing their jobs because, oh, a game did bad or the industry is doing bad. No, the gaming industry is making record profits. They're just greedy fucks. That's all there is to it. So it's just, corporate greed, these stupid tech bros. Did you see that post the other day where this girl was like, I'm tired of living in nerd ass tech bros wet dreams with everything being surveillance and, you know, and the AI and all of that shit. But it's the truth. Your refrigerator's a smart refrigerator, your phone, your smartphone, your smart this. That's exactly, we live in their stinking ass, nerdy ass, wet dreams.
And I tell you fucking what, And I can go on record and say this shit because fuck them. My black ass, and I probably sound like somebody's grandma right now.
You said
but my
what?
Black ass, I probably sound like somebody's grandma right now.
Oh God.
But my black ass is still on iOS 18. Y'all can't pay me to upgrade my damn OS system.
Oh my God.
I'm not doing it. Y'all gonna have to pay me.
Oh my God. Not iOS 18. I don't even know what iOS I'm on, but I know I haven't updated in a long time.
Damn. To wrap it up.
Oh yes.
Cause we can't be reading these sad ass books every damn book.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I do want to do a scary book though, because I forgot Halloween's coming up. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
What you got in mind?
I don't know. I gotta find something. I have a couple of things I want to read, but it was gonna be a nonfiction, but we're gonna do nonfiction near the end, and we're gonna make the nonfiction fun. So we're probably gonna end up reading either Jennifer Lewis's biography. I do want to read a biography about Harriet Tubman. I don't know why, but I want to read a biography about Harriet Tubman. But we'll do that another day, another time. Or we could read Tina Knowles' autobiography or Will Smith's autobiography. But that's near the end of the year.
I'll tell you what, I did read Positive Obsession.
What's that?
It is the autobiography about Octavia Butler.
There it is. That's our nonfiction book. That is our nonfiction book near the end of the year. But we have to knock out a book, and our book club's gonna be in October, and it's gonna be scary. So y'all be on the lookout in the Discord for, I'm either gonna just say it or give y'all a choice, and boom, that'll be sometime in October, and then we'll read the book that Mo just suggested, and then that's book club's gonna be before the end of the year, so sometime in December. Okay.
So y'all have time to get it.
Yeah. So
it was actually I really enjoyed it because it talked about a lot of stuff that I didn't anticipate them to talk about.
What, Positive Obsession?
Yeah.
So y'all make sure y'all get Positive Obsession. That's the book club book for December. I have to find the book club book for October, and it's gonna be something scary. So if you don't like scary, you don't like scurry shit, then you might want to skip this one. But I'm gonna try to make sure it's not sad, but normally scary books are sad, so I'm sorry. But during the beginning of next year, I'll find something lighthearted and fun.
Good night, BT.
Yeah, good night, BT. Oh, you was in here the whole time, and I just was talking about you. Oh my God. But I didn't say nothing bad this time. This time. Maybe a Quan Mills book? No, thank you. Oh please. God, no, please no. Not yup. I was just giving an example how you're so smart, but yet you're not rich. I need you to be rich. You gotta get one of y'all white people in here gonna get us out the hood. Ooh, almost said us. Almost said the gamer word. Oh boy.
Buttery crustaceans.
Not you could stray from heavier topics with horrors focused more on slasher, but it's slashing, I guess.
I was just please.
Oh my God. Well, I'll figure something out. All right, Mo, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for helping me with this book club, because without you, this book club probably wouldn't have, this is our second year of books, book readings. So thank you so much, Mo. I always appreciate you. Thank you, baby daddy. And give Deanna, I guess, a hug for me.
I'll give her a kiss for me too.
Get out of here. Bye, Mo. Don't you boo me, Deanna. Since you went, I gave Deanna a hug every time I've seen her, a big old hug too. So Deanna can't say I didn't give her a hug. Now, did I take any pictures with her? No, unfortunately. I'll do better next time. Shut up, tape. Anyway, y'all, I'm about to clock into. Can Mo not get out of stream chat? Hold on. There we go. I'm going to clock into Power World. So I told y'all we was gonna have a book club on Sunday. A lot of y'all in here doubted me. And now look at you, egg on your face. Never doubt me, because if there's one thing I'm gonna do is procrastinate, but yet knock it out the park every time. That's how I was in school, and unfortunately, I guess I'm not ready for school yet again, because I'm the same fucking way, even with this goddamn book club. We have to doubt you so you actually do it out of spite. Y'all don't know me. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for participating in book club. I really appreciate y'all. Be on the lookout for the new, or the next book in the Discord. It's going to be in the channel, books, comics, and books. And then I'll make the official announcement in the announcement channel once we figure everything out. We should have the next book by the end. Well, honestly, in the next couple of days. So just give me a little time. Other than that, y'all take it easy. Be good to yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Good night and goodbye.
Capiche? Tequila lover.
Oh,
Astrology nerd.
what the hell? Hey, I pressed the wrong button.
Was in the bag,
And don't forget the
Please capiche.
yeah. Huh.
Rain boots and a thong.
Booty.
All day long. This break.
Happy box. Shake your fucking ass. Sorry. Love y'all.